Chapter 5004. The killing intent in Lu Weiyang's eyes slowly receded and was replaced by a sly light. I have a feeling that Lu Ming and Mulan are definitely not as simple as senior and junior siblings. If they are merely senior and junior siblings, why would Lu Ming disregard the danger and search for them from the Eastern universe? I think there's something going on between them. Lu Weiyang said. That's right. The other youths nodded. Hee. There are countless people pursuing Mulans in the Azure Divine Domain. If Lu Ming and Mulans are having an affair, we can still kill them with a borrowed knife. Killing intent surged in Lu Weiyang's eyes. Brother Lu, you're really smart. I can't wait. A young man flattered. Come, let's go to Mulans's residence. Lu Weiyang said. Time passed quickly. 3 years passed in the blink of an eye. During these 3 years, Lu Ming had been comprehending Genesis techniques. Of course, he would extract Origin Spirit medicinal liquid from top-tier source-grade divine herbs every month. He now had a total of 8 top-tier source-grade divine herbs. 5 of them came from the Eastern Universe. Of the other 3, 1 came from Zhushi, and the other 2 came from the demon kraken of the extreme evil race. 8 stalks of top-notch source-level divine herbs meant that he could obtain 8 drops of source spirit medicinal liquid every month. This allowed Lu Ming to improve very quickly. Every month, his origin seed would grow bigger and his power of origin would become stronger. Brother Lu, are you there? Han Yu's voice came from outside. Could senior sister Mulans have come out of seclusion? Lu Ming's heart thumped. Han Yu had the contact of Mulans's maid. The maid had said that Mulans would send a message to Han Yu when she came out of seclusion, and Han Yu would inform Lu Ming. Han Yu hadn't come looking for Lu Ming in the past 3 years. Now that he suddenly came looking for him, Lu Ming couldn't help but think of Mulans. In a flash, Lu Ming left the courtyard and appeared in front of Han Yu. Lu Ming, I just received news that your senior sister, Mulans, has come out of seclusion. Han Yu said. Lu Ming was delighted. Go! Lu Ming couldn't wait to go to Mulan's residence. Heavenly Orchid Court. A silhouette stood quietly in the middle of the courtyard. This woman was none other than Mulans. After not seeing her for a while, Mulans's temperament was even better than before. Her entire body was filled with temptation. A few maids stood at the side. Miss Mulans, have you successfully broken through? A maid asked curiously. Not bad, the breakthrough this time went very smoothly. Now, I should have the battle prowess of someone who has broken through twice. Mulans said with a smile on her face. A person who had broken through the pinnacle twice would be considered a top genius in the entire universe, let alone in the firmament divine realm. Even if the 5 forbidden lands were included, there wouldn't be too many. Lu Ming, I should be worthy of you now. Perhaps, I'm already above you. Mulans said in her heart. Perhaps she should find a chance to return to the universe in the East. In the past, it was very difficult for her to pass through the void between the East and West universes before her cultivation reached the phenomenal level. Now, she had broken through the pinnacle twice and was invincible in the universe except for the invincible Divine Master. She was confident that she could pass through the void and return. She couldn't wait to return to Lu Ming's side. Now, she had enough confidence. Back then, she took the initiative to leave Lu Ming because she felt inferior and felt that the distance between her and Lu Ming was too far. Now, she had finally caught up. Congratulations, miss, for breaking through the pinnacle twice. The maids were also overjoyed and congratulated her one after another. Did anything happen during this time? Mulans asked. Nothing else. When you were in seclusion, there were people coming to you every day. One of the maids said. Mulans sighed. She didn't know how many times she had rejected those people, but they didn't give up and kept pestering her. It seemed that she had to return to the universe as soon as possible. Mulans, congratulations. At this moment, a voice was heard. In the distance, a young man stepped on the air. The young man's white clothes fluttered in the wind, and he was extraordinarily handsome. Lu Feng. Mulans frowned slightly. Lu Feng was considered a top existence among all of Mulans's suitors. He was a peerless genius who had broken through the pinnacle twice. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Suddenly, the sound of something breaking through the air was heard. There were people coming from several directions. At least 7 or 8 figures flew over. They were all young elites. Moulins, congratulations on coming out of seclusion. Moulins, have you broken through the pinnacle twice? Congratulations, I'm so happy. These young men congratulated her one after another, and some directly flattered her. Did you send them the news? Moulins glanced at the maids. The maids blushed and were a little embarrassed. One of them said, "Miss, they kept pestering us and many of them have extraordinary status. We didn't dare to offend them." "Yes, miss, please forgive us." The other maids also said. Moulins sighed. She also knew the difficulties of the maids. These young elites were either very talented or had extraordinary status. They had powerful backers behind them. Moulins couldn't afford to offend them, let alone the maids. She also knew that she couldn't blame the maids. "What are you doing here? Get lost." Lu Feng glanced at the other 7 or 8 young men and shouted coldly with a cold gaze. "Ha Lu Feng, if you can come, can't we?" One of the purple-robed young men sneered and replied without fear of Lu Feng. "As a person, you have to know your own limits. Now that Moulins has broken through the pinnacle twice, she is very talented and has a limitless future. You guys are not worthy of her. If you know what's good for you, you should leave." Lu Feng sneered. Lu Feng, the purple-robed young man's face turned ugly. However, Lu Feng had broken through the pinnacle twice, while he had only broken through the pinnacle once. He didn't know how to refute Lu Feng's words. "Ah, well said. But in my opinion, Lu Feng, you don't have the right either. Get lost too." There was another loud laugh, and a burly figure stepped through the air. "Yuan Jie." Lu Feng's eyes narrowed and showed a hint of fear. The burly young man was called Yuan Jie, and he was also a pinnacle prodigy who had broken through the pinnacle twice. Most importantly, because they were both Moulin's pursuers, Lu Feng had fought with Yuan Jie before. The two of them exchanged more than 100 blows, and Lu Feng was defeated in the end. Yuan Jie's combat power was above Lu Feng's even though they were both at the pinnacle twice. "Yuan Jie, it's been 1,000 years. I might not lose to you now." Lu Feng snorted coldly. It wasn't that he hadn't improved over the years. "Is that so? Then let's fight again." Yuan Jie's eyes showed a strong fighting spirit. It was very domineering. At this moment, there were more than 100 people around Sky Orchid Garden. Of course, not all of them were Moulin's pursuers. There were also some who were here to watch the show. There were also some women who were Moulin's good friends. Moulin's identity was very special. She was the savior of the Ashen Azure Divine Realm. If it weren't for her, the Ashen Azure Divine Realm would probably still be sealed. Chapter 5005. Moulin's was not only the great benefactor of the Ashen Azure Divine Realm, but she was also the disciple of a top expert in the Ashen Azure Divine Realm. Most importantly, Moulin's talent was also peerless. Although she had broken through the limit twice, her potential had not been fully developed. A big shot in the Ashen Azure Divine Realm once judged that Moulin's had the potential to break through the limit 3 times. Breaking through the limit 3 times was so rare that there were not many in the entire universe. More importantly, there was a prefix, at least, in front of it, which was even rarer. Therefore, even if they were not pursuing Moulin's, they would still befriend Moulin's, regardless of whether they were men or women. Therefore, as soon as Moulin's broke through, a large number of people came to congratulate her. Among them were Lu Weiyang and a few of his bad friends. The main purpose of Lu Weiyang's visit was not to congratulate Moulin's. He knew that since Moulin's had broken through, Lu Ming would definitely come. If Moulin's and Lu Ming were extraordinary, they might be able to provoke a dispute between Lu Ming and those suitors. Lu Ming is so slow. If he doesn't come soon, these people will fight among themselves. Lu Weiyang muttered, secretly hoping that Lu Ming would come soon. In the Heavenly Orchid Court, Moulin's looked at the increasing number of people around her and felt more and more helpless. She really hated this kind of situation. "By the way, miss, when you were in seclusion, your junior brother came to see you." At this time, a servant girl said, "My junior brother? My master only has me as his disciple. Where did my junior brother come from?" Moulin's was a little surprised. Before the Great Tribulation of Origin, she had been accepted as a disciple by a big shot in the firmament divine realm. This big shot had not accepted any other disciples before taking her in as his disciple. Not long after that, the Great Tribulation of Origin arrived. That big shot then sealed himself and went into a deep sleep. How could there be a junior brother? Could it be? Suddenly, Mulin's eyes lit up and emitted a dazzling light. At the same time, her breathing became a little rapid. But immediately she felt a little uneasy. Was it really possible? She naturally thought of Lu Ming. Lu Ming had always called her senior sister. But how could Lu Ming come here? The Western universe and the Eastern universe were separated by a vast and boundless void zone. It was extremely difficult to cross the border. Besides, wasn't Lu Ming in the starry sky of the universe? It was even further away from the Western universe. Without the cultivation of a peak almighty, it was impossible to cross such a long distance. How many years had it been? Lu Ming had reached the peak of the Almighty Master realm. The reason why she was able to achieve so much was that she had obtained a heaven-defying opportunity on the ancient path of stars. She had obtained a heaven-defying fortune, and her body had undergone a complete transformation. Later, she had entered the firmament divine realm and obtained a large amount of resources to support her. Lu Ming's talent was high, but it was limited to a corner of the universe. Compared to the vast universe, the creatures in the Forbidden Lands, and the human race's top talents in the firmament divine realm, he was too far away. She was not looking down on Lu Ming. She was very confident in Lu Ming. But when she left, Lu Ming was still developing in a corner of the universe. Compared to the vast universe, a corner of the universe was too far away. Even if she trusted Lu Ming, she was not sure that Lu Ming could reach peak almighty in a little more than 10,000 years. But deep in her heart, she was very hopeful. In the universe, other than Lu Ming, who else would call himself her junior brother? What's his name? Mullins looked at the servant girl nervously and expectantly. Her voice was trembling, and she completely ignored the people around her. The servant girls were very surprised. They had rarely seen Mullins so agitated. Miss, that person called himself Lu Ming. He came from the Eastern universe, a servant girl said. It's really him. It's really him. Mullins's heart was beating wildly. Her face was flushed with excitement. She kept muttering to herself, unable to control herself. At this moment, there were at least 100 people around. They were stunned when they saw Mullins's expression. Why was Mullins so agitated? In the crowd, Lu Weiyang was also a little surprised. But his eyes kept looking around. Suddenly, his eyes lit up. He's here. Lu Ming is here. In the distant void, Lu Ming and Han Yu stepped on the void. They were extremely fast, and in the blink of an eye, they were in front of them. When Lu Ming arrived, he saw Mullins at first glance. Senior sister, Lu Ming couldn't help but call out. He didn't hide it at all. His voice traveled far and reached Mullins's ears. Mullins's delicate body trembled. She was all too familiar with this voice. The voice that she had been thinking about day and night couldn't be wrong. It was Lu Ming. It was Lu Ming. Mullins raised her head in surprise and saw Lu Ming standing in the void, looking at her without blinking. At this moment, Mullins's heart completely melted. She stepped on the void and rushed towards Lu Ming. At this moment, she only had one thought. She wanted to jump into Lu Ming's arms. However, when she arrived in front of Lu Ming, she couldn't help but stop. She thought of the past. She thought of Lu Ming's attitude towards her back then. She thought of Xian Yanqing. She thought of the autumn moon. When she thought of this, she hesitated and stared blankly at Lu Ming. After a while, she called out, "Junior brother." After calling him junior brother, she felt as if something was stuck in her throat. She couldn't say anything else. However, in the next moment, she felt a strong arm wrapped around her slender waist. A strong force surged, and Mullins couldn't help but lean into Lu Ming's arms. She didn't resist. Instinctively, she didn't want to resist. Just like that, she threw herself into Lu Ming's arms. She was deeply embraced by Lu Ming. "Senior sister, I've finally found you. From now on, I'll never let you leave me again." Lu Ming's voice rang in Mulin's ears. Mulin's replied. At this moment, something seemed to have exploded in her heart. All the resentment, blame, and helplessness in the past were completely forgotten. All that was left was happiness. She only hoped that this moment could last until the end of time. Everyone around was dumbfounded. Many people's mouths were wide open. They were all stunned. What's going on? Even Lu Weiyang, who had been mentally prepared, was a little stunned at this moment. Those who were pursuing Mulan were in an uproar. Let go, you little bastard. Let go. Take your dirty hands away. You're dead. I'm going to cripple your hands. Where did this inferior bloodline come from? How dare you molest Miss Mulin's? You're courting death. Many people roared and their eyes widened. What did Lu Ming do? He actually dared to hold their goddess in his arms in front of us. How dare he? He's courting death. In an instant, at least dozens of people rushed towards Lu Ming. Dozens of murderous auras locked onto Lu Ming. In the crowd, Lu Weiyang was ecstatic. Chapter 5006. Lu Weiyang was truly ecstatic, his heart bursting with joy. His original goal had been to find an opportunity to provoke a conflict between Lu Ming and those suitors of Mulin's so that he could use them to deal with Lu Ming. He had not expected that before he could even act, Lu Ming would seek his own death. Yes, in his view, Lu Ming was seeking his own death. Lu Ming had dared to embrace Mulin's in front of everyone. How many faces had he slapped and hearts had he hurt? There were definitely countless people who wanted nothing more than to grind Lu Ming's bones to dust. At this moment, it was too late for Lu Ming to kneel and admit his mistake. Lu Ming was dead for sure. There was no need for him to do anything. However, Lu Ming turned a blind eye to the situation around him. He continued, "Senior sister, it's been more than 10,000 years since we last met. Junior brother really misses you. Junior brother Lu Ming, senior sister misses you too," Mulin's softly said. Her heart was so sweet that it seemed like it would melt away. 10,000 years of waiting had not been in vain. However, the surrounding people were about to explode from anger. Not only did Lu Ming not let go of Mulin's, he even spoke such intimate words to Mulin's, completely ignoring them. Courting death. Swoosh swoosh. Finally, two people could not help but strike. Two extremely sharp sword gleams pierced toward Lu Ming's heart from the back. The power was very shocking. Peak God Lord. Lu Ming did not need to look to know that these two attacks had the power of a peak God Lord. However, they only had the power of an ordinary peak God Lord. Lu Ming did not even turn his head. He flicked two fingers behind him, and two spear lights shot out and collided with the two sword lights. Buzz. Buzz. The two swords violently vibrated, and then the two figures retreated, each vomiting blood. At this moment, Lu Ming released Mulin's and glanced behind him. It was two youths who had attacked Lu Ming. The two youths' cultivation was at the 9th level of the God Lord realm, but their fighting strength was at the peak of the God Lord realm. Lu Ming could not help but sigh. The human clan of the Firmament Divine Realm was indeed astonishingly talented. The human clan of the universe could not compare to them. This had something to do with their bloodline. If Lu Ming did not have a forbidden body, his talent would definitely be far from these people's. It was no wonder that some people in the Azure Divine Realm looked down on those with inferior bloodlines. It was not without reason. They were definitely not many people like them. In Heaven Destroyer. Except a few people like Lu and a few people. Apart from a few people like Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing. And a few people like them. There were many such people in the Azure Divine Realm. You want to sneak attack me with just the two of you? You overestimate yourselves. Lu Ming said coldly. What big words. I'd like to see where your confidence comes from. A cold voice sounded. A purple-robed youth appeared in front of Lu Ming. This youth was extremely strong. He had the fighting strength of a first breakthrough. Gu Ji, what do you want? This has nothing to do with you. Back off. Mulin's shouted. Mulin's, this is between us men. You don't have to care. Are you going to protect him forever? The purple-robed young man, Gu Ji, continued to look at Lu Ming. Lad, I want to challenge you now. If you're a man, fight me. Gu Ji's eyes flashed fiercely. He was about to explode from anger. Lu Ming dared to touch Mulin's. He had to break Lu Ming's claws. Gu Ji, if you want to touch junior brother Lu Ming, you'll have to get through me first. Mulin's roared, her powerful energy erupting and locking onto Gu Ji. Lu Ming had just injured 2 9th-level Divine Lord prodigies with one move. His fighting strength exceeded Mulin's expectations and gave her a pleasant surprise. But Gu Ji was a first breakthrough expert. His fighting strength was far from what those two youths could compare to. He was afraid that Lu Ming would be at a disadvantage. There was another person in the crowd who was also moving, Lu Weiyang. Go and invite Pang Xiao. Tell him that Mulin's was hugged by a man. Pang Xiao will definitely go crazy. Lu Weiyang secretly ordered a youth. Others didn't know Lu Ming's fighting strength, but Lu Weiyang knew a little. Even Yan Cheng had been defeated by Lu Ming. Lu Ming definitely had the fighting strength of a second breakthrough expert. Gu Ji definitely wasn't a match for Lu Ming. Not to mention Gu Ji, even the other prodigies who had a second breakthrough might not be able to take down Lu Ming. So, he had to prepare for both sides. Pang Xiao was also a peerless prodigy of the Azure Divine Realm and had the fighting strength of a second breakthrough expert. However, Pang Xiao's second stage extreme break was different from other second stage extreme break cultivators. Pang Xiao's fighting strength was at the top even among second breakthrough experts. It was said that he had once exchanged more than 10 moves with a third breakthrough expert and escaped unscathed. With such combat strength, he was just a step away from breaking through the limit 3 times. More importantly, Pang Xiao was also a loyal admirer of Mulin's. If he knew that Lu Ming dared to hug Mulin's in public, he would definitely go crazy. For some reason, Pang Xiao didn't come today, so Lu Weiyang sent someone to inform him. Anyway, Lu Ming would be miserable today. Seeing Mulin standing in front of him, Lu Ming felt warm in his heart, knowing that Mulin's was protecting him. But did he need protection? Senior sister, I can deal with such a guy. Don't worry. Lu Ming smiled and took Mulin's hand and pulled Mulin's behind him. Around them, many people stared at Lu Ming's hand holding Mulin's hand and their eyes were about to spit fire. They wanted to replace him. Gu Ji's eyes were full of murderous intent. If looks could kill, Lu Ming would have been riddled with holes. Mulin's, Lu Ming has accepted my challenge. Are you still going to stop him? Gu Ji said. Junior brother. Mulin's looked at Lu Ming and saw the confidence in Lu Ming's eyes. It was the same confidence as before. Mulin's heart calmed down. She knew that Lu Ming must be confident. Junior brother, be careful, Mulin said with concern and then slowly stepped back. The others were envious. How good would it be if Mulin's was so concerned about them? Make your move. I'll give you 3 moves. Gu Ji said coldly. He was very confident. How strong could an inferior bloodline be? He was confident that he could easily suppress Lu Ming. The combat strength of the human race was often linked to their bloodline. The purer the bloodline, the higher the bloodline grade, and the higher the talent potential, the stronger the combat strength. That was because some of the high-level cultivation techniques and secret techniques of the human race were related to the bloodline grade. The higher the bloodline grade, the higher the level of those cultivation techniques and secret techniques. That was why the human race cared so much about bloodline. On the other hand, Lu Ming only had an inferior bloodline. How powerful would he be? Those ancient cultivation techniques and secret techniques of the human race couldn't be cultivated to a high level by an inferior bloodline. Gu Ji is really an idiot. Lu Weiyang cursed in his mind. However, he didn't say anything. He wasn't familiar with Gu Ji. Why should he remind him? It would be better if he didn't. If he didn't, Gu Ji would definitely be defeated by Lu Ming. In that case, Lu Ming would definitely offend Gu Ji. Wouldn't it be better to have one more enemy for Lu Ming? Chapter 5007. Not only Gu Ji, but Lu Weiyang would also not warn the others. These people had suffered greatly because of Lu Ming, so they would definitely hold a grudge against Lu Ming. After Lu Ming offended these people, Pang Xiao would come and beat Lu Ming half to death. Wouldn't that be perfect? You'll let me have 3 moves? Sure. Lu Ming had a strange expression on his face. This Gu Ji was really confident. However, he wouldn't go easy on him. Swoosh! Lu Ming attacked directly. His body was like a flash of lightning as he charged towards Guji. At the same time, the divine battle spear appeared and rapidly enlarged before slamming down on Guji. Initially, the ancient extreme did not intend to retaliate. Instead, he planned to take on Lu Ming's attack with ease and elegance. He wanted to show off in front of Mulan and leave a good impression on her. However, his expression changed as soon as Lu Ming attacked. The power of the battle god spear was simply too terrifying. It was so terrifying that his hair stood on end. Terrifying, powerful, unbearable. Ah, how can he be so powerful? How is this possible? Guji roared in his heart. He could no longer remain calm. What did he mean by relaxed and elegant? The only thing on his mind now was to block Lu Ming's attack. Third form of King Path Sword, Crimson World. Guji roared. His blood boiled as he raised his combat strength to the maximum and slashed out. A sword radiance shot up into the sky and clashed with the divine battle spear. Boom! The two attacks collided. Guji's sword glow shuddered violently, which lasted for around 3 breaths before it collapsed. The divine battle spear did not stop there, as it continued to attack. Guji's face turned pale. At this critical moment, he could only raise his battle sword to block the attack. Clang! The divine battle spear clashed with Guji's battle sword. Guji's face flushed red as he spat out a mouthful of blood. His body was like a cannonball as he slammed into the ground. The ground of the firmament divine realm was extremely hard, but Guji still created a large hole in the ground. What? Everyone around him was stunned. Guji, who had broken through once, was actually defeated by Lu Ming in one move. How could Lu Ming, who had an inferior bloodline, be so powerful? Even Mulan's was surprised. Lu Ming, you're despicable. You actually sneak attacked me. At this time, Guji roared, his anger soaring to the sky. Of course, this was an act. He had fought Lu Ming for real just now, so he knew how powerful Lu Ming was. The power surging from the war god's spear was too strong. Even if he was fully prepared, it was impossible for him to block it. The outcome would be the same. Then why did he accuse Lu Ming of launching a sneak attack? Of course, it was to save face. Just now, he was so confident that he would let Lu Ming have 3 moves first. In the end, he was defeated by Lu Ming in 1 move. This was really too shameful. Especially in front of Mulan's, in front of his competitors. Of course, he would say that Lu Ming launched a sneak attack. This would not be a problem of his battle strength, but Lu Ming's despicability. As for whether others would be defeated by Lu Ming because they looked down on Lu Ming, he was too lazy to care. He couldn't wait. Most of the youths around were Mulan's pursuers and his competitors. He couldn't wait for others to be defeated by Lu Ming. That way, everyone would be humiliated and his embarrassment wouldn't be so obvious. Sure enough, when Guji said this, the others also reacted. Just now, it was indeed Lu Ming who suddenly attacked. It was indeed a sneak attack. Despicable, he actually launched a sneak attack. How despicable! That's right, he only knows how to launch sneak attacks. How can such a despicable person be qualified to pursue Mulan's? Lu Ming, come out and die. Many people shouted, and some stepped out, their powerful auras filling the air. Those who stepped out were all experts. They were all existences who had broken through in one go. There were a total of 4 of them. These people weren't stupid. Even if Lu Ming had launched a sneak attack, he could defeat Guji in 1 move. His battle strength was definitely not weak. Ordinary Almighty wouldn't be a match for Lu Ming. Therefore, those who didn't have breaking through combat strength could only curse, but they didn't dare to make a move. Those who dared to force Lu Ming were all existences who had breaking through. However, several of the strongest prodigies, such as Lu Feng and Yuan Jie, didn't force Lu Ming. They were proud of their status and still wanted to save face. They didn't want to join forces to deal with Lu Ming. Lu Ming smiled and took a step forward. The battle god's spear suddenly pierced out. 4 spear lights burst out, piercing toward the 4 existences who had broken through in one go. He actually attacked 4 geniuses who had broken through the first time at the same time. The 4 of them were furious. The four of them attacked at the same time, raising their combat strength to the maximum and attacking with their strongest attacks. However, the result was already decided. Even if the four of them joined forces, it wouldn't be enough. When the spear lights collided with the attacks of the four prodigies, the attacks of the four prodigies were directly defeated. The spear lights didn't stop and continued to thrust forward. Oh no! The four prodigies' faces changed drastically. At this moment, they were filled with regret. After fighting with Lu Ming, they finally realized how terrifying Lu Ming was. He was too powerful. With Lu Ming's combat strength, he didn't need to launch a sneak attack to deal with Gu Ji. He could crush Gu Ji in a head-on fight. They had been tricked by Gu Ji. Unfortunately, it was too late for regrets. Although they tried their best to resist, they still coughed up blood and were forced to retreat. They were seriously injured. The crowd suddenly quieted down. Many people looked at Lu Ming in shock. They weren't fools or blind. How could they not understand that Lu Ming's combat strength was really powerful? This time, Lu Ming didn't launch a sneak attack. Instead, he attacked the four prodigies head-on. He fought against four of them alone and injured them with one move. With such combat strength, why would he need to launch a sneak attack to deal with Gu Ji? Could it be that Lu Ming had the combat strength of a second-time extreme break? If he hadn't broken through the second time, how could he have injured four heavenly legends who had broken through the first time in one move? Junior brother, Mulins looked at Lu Ming with sparkling eyes. She didn't expect Lu Ming's combat strength to be so powerful. Could it be that Lu Ming also had a great opportunity over the years? Lu Feng and Yuan Jie's faces also became solemn. Before, they didn't take Lu Ming seriously. But now, they already regarded Lu Ming as their opponent. Lu Ming's performance made him qualified to be their opponent. Of course, he was just qualified. They could also injure four first-time extreme break prodigies with one move. Moreover, the four first-time extreme break prodigies only suffered some minor injuries. Lu Ming's combat strength wasn't too strong. They were confident that they could deal with him. Lu Ming, you're quite strong. Why don't you exchange a few moves with me? A voice sounded. Lu Feng stepped out. Lu Feng was going to attack. Many people were shocked. Although there were more than 100 people gathered around, Lu Feng and Yuan Jie were undoubtedly the two strongest. Leave it to me. Yuan Jie also stepped out. Chapter 5008. Yuan Jie also stepped forward. His powerful aura spread out and locked onto Lu Ming. Lu Feng's eyes flashed coldly. He looked at Yuan Jie unhappily. Yuan Jie, you want to compete with me again? Lu Feng, I'm afraid you're not Lu Ming's match. It's safer for me to fight him. Yuan Jie smiled. Lu Feng was furious. How much stronger do you think you are than me? You're just a little bit stronger than me. If I'm not Lu Ming's match, do you think you can? However, he did lose to Yuan Jie once. He couldn't refute Yuan Jie's words. You don't have to fight. Both of you can fight me together. It'll be troublesome if I fight you one by one. Lu Ming said casually as if he was talking about something insignificant. However, it shocked everyone present. Lu Ming wanted to challenge Yuan Jie and Lu Feng at the same time? Was he crazy or overconfident? Could it be that Lu Ming didn't use his full strength just now? Was he hiding his strength? He doesn't look like a fool. He should know how powerful a second-time extreme break is. However, he still wants to challenge Yuan Jie and Lu Feng. If he's not crazy, he must have something to rely on. But he only has an inferior bloodline. How can he be so powerful? There was a lot of discussion at the scene. At this moment, no one dared to underestimate Lu Ming. How could they underestimate someone who could injure four first-time extreme break cultivators in one move? However, they still couldn't believe that an inferior bloodline could be so powerful. Junior brother, Mulins wanted to say something, but when she saw Lu Ming's spirited and confident eyes, she stopped. She knew Lu Ming too well. Perhaps Lu Ming really had the confidence to deal with Yuan Jie and Lu Feng at the same time. The bystanders were confused, puzzled, and surprised, but Yuan Jie and Lu Feng were furious. Lu Ming wanted them to fight him together. How much did he look down on them? If Lu Ming was a peerless genius with an extremely high bloodline level, then it would make sense. However, Lu Ming only had an inferior bloodline. A person with an inferior bloodline didn't take them seriously at all and challenged them at the same time. If news of this spread, they would lose a lot of face. Good, very good. Lu Feng, why don't we join hands this time? Yuan Xie was so angry that he laughed and looked at Lu Feng. All right, I was thinking the same thing. Lu Feng also said coldly. They had grudges against each other, so it was impossible for them to work together. However, for the sake of their own reputation, they decided to work together. Just this once. Both of them muttered in their hearts. Make your move. Lu Ming tilted his long spear downwards as he looked at the two of them. His expression was casual and relaxed. This made Yuan Jie and Lu Feng even more displeased. Kill! Yuan Xie shouted. He took a step forward, causing the void to tremble. Then he slashed his halberd at Lu Ming. At the same time, Lu Feng also made his move. His body was like a gust of wind, shockingly fast. In a flash, he appeared on Lu Ming's right side. Several streaks of sword light pierced towards Lu Ming and the others like lightning. Although the two of them were angry, they didn't dare to underestimate Lu Ming. They attacked with all their might and used their killing moves. The two of them worked together. One of them was powerful and heavy, while the other was as fast as lightning. Their coordination was flawless. If other experts who had broken through the second level were to face this attack, they would probably be injured. The onlookers couldn't help but feel nervous. Their eyes widened as they stared at the battlefield unblinkingly, afraid that they would miss something. Lu Ming was so confident. Would he be able to block this move? Buzz. The war god's spear vibrated, stirring up the void. Several streaks of spear light shot out, piercing towards Yuan Xie and Lu Feng. After a few consecutive explosions, a myriad of forces were stirred up. The surrounding people couldn't help but step back, afraid that they would be swept in by the powerful forces. Mulin's was the only one who was covered in a layer of light. She was like a fairy who had descended to the mortal world. She blocked all the forces and stood motionless in the void. Then, the two figures retreated. These two figures were Yuan Xie and Lu Feng. Lu Ming didn't move at all. What? The onlookers were shocked. Not only did Lu Ming block the joint attack of Yuan Xie and Lu Feng, but he also forced the two of them to retreat. This was unbelievable. Terrifying, too terrifying. This was Lu Ming's combat strength. Could it be that Lu Ming could really defeat Yuan Xie and Lu Feng? Was this still an inferior bloodline? How could an inferior bloodline have such powerful combat strength? Is this the power of the emperor level shocking the world? It's really powerful. Lu Ming muttered to himself. He hadn't used his full strength in the previous attack. It was just a test. He already knew that most humans cultivated the monarch-level world-shocking record. This was a supreme technique created by human king Xingxi. This technique was highly compatible with the human bloodline. After successfully cultivating it, one would be able to cultivate a powerful force called the world-shaking force. The emperor level shocking the world was divided into 9 levels. The higher one cultivated it, the more powerful the shocking the world would be. Of course, the higher one cultivated it, the more closely related to one's bloodline. Only those with higher cultivation, purer bloodline, and greater talent would be able to cultivate to a higher level. It was said that once one cultivated the emperor level shocking the world to the 7th level, with some powerful secret techniques, one could break through 3 levels and become an invincible almighty. As for the 8th level, very few people in history had succeeded. The 9th level was almost a legend. Looking at the history of the human race, very few people had succeeded. It was said that both human king Xian Yuan and the eternal queen had cultivated the emperor level shocking the world to the 9th level when they were almighty. This technique played a crucial role in the rapid rise of the human race in the Eldritch continent in the last era. This was the most important cultivation technique for humans below the origin realm. Han Yu had told him this when he cultivated under the sacred luminance's holy scroll. Lu Ming speculated that Yuan Jie and Lu Feng should have cultivated to the 6th level of world-shocking records of the emperor level. The power that they had condensed was already very terrifying. However, it was still far from Lu Ming's forbidden power. Yuan Jie and Lu Feng were shocked and furious after being repelled by Lu Ming with one move. Kill. Fight. The two of them shouted again and pushed their battle strength to the limit. They activated their halberd and longsword and continued to attack Lu Ming. The halberd and longsword in their hands were undoubtedly source-grade magic weapons. The Firmament Divine Realm was much wealthier than the Heaven Destroyer, the demons, or the heavenly human race. They did not lack source-grade magic weapons. Some of the top geniuses almost all had a source-grade magic weapon. "It's time to end this," Lu Ming whispered. He had already tested the two of them. The shocking the world was still too weak. There was no point in continuing to test them. Moreover, just now, Lu Ming had already sensed that more powerful people had arrived secretly. That person was obviously secretly observing them. Then he would release more power and lure that stronger expert to attack. This time, he might as well reveal more of his strength and establish his prestige in one fell swoop, saving himself from future troubles. Chapter 5009. Therefore, when Lu Ming made his next move, he used a stronger force. Two huge spear lights pierced toward Yuan Jie and Lu Feng respectively. The terrifying power instantly shattered their attacks. Yuan Jie and Lu Feng retreated like lightning. They retreated 100 miles before regaining their balance. They couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. This. Gasps could be heard from the crowd. Shocking, truly shocking. Even a blind person could see that Lu Ming had completely crushed Yuan Jie and Lu Feng. What kind of combat power was this to defeat Yuan Jie and Lu Feng so easily? Was this the limit of the second break? This kind of combat power was close to the third break. In the crowd, Lu Weiyang's face turned pale. Damn it, why is Lu Ming so strong? Is Pang Xiao a match for him? Lu Weiyang roared in his heart. At the same time, he felt a strong sense of unease. He wasn't sure if Pang Xiao was Lu Ming's match. Pang Xiao's combat power was undoubtedly strong. He was at the limit of the second break and was close to the third break. He had once fought with a third break and retreated unscathed after more than 10 moves. With Pang Xiao's combat power, he could easily defeat Yuan Jie and Lu Feng when they joined forces. However, he wasn't sure if Lu Ming had used his full strength just now. He never thought that Lu Ming, who had an inferior bloodline, would be so strong. As far as they knew, inferior bloodlines couldn't be this strong. Because of their inferior bloodline, it was very difficult to cultivate the Emperor-level shocking record to a high level. It was almost impossible. Bloodlines and the Emperor-level shocking record complemented each other. Back then, Xianyuan Renwang also had an inferior bloodline. However, through continuous transformations and refinements, his bloodline became stronger and stronger. In the end, he was able to cultivate the Emperor-level shocking record to the peak. Lu Ming, on the other hand, clearly had an inferior bloodline, so it was impossible for him to cultivate the record of shocking the world to a high level. Then, how could he have such strong combat strength? Although in the history of the Eldritch continent, there was no lack of people who did not have a high bloodline but had mastered other powerful forces. However, those were too few and could be counted on one hand. Could it be that Lu Ming was like this? At this moment, Yuan Jie and Lu Feng's faces were pale, and their eyes were filled with disappointment. They knew very well that they were no match for Lu Ming. If they continued to fight, the result would not change. Still want to fight? Lu Ming asked faintly. I admit defeat. In the end, Yuan Jie lowered his head. He was still arrogant and principled. Since he had lost, he would admit defeat. Lu Feng didn't want to admit defeat, but when he saw Yuan Jie admit defeat, he clenched his teeth and surrendered. He couldn't lose his composure in front of Mulin's and his competitors. Interesting. At this moment, a hearty laugh was heard. Then, a figure appeared in the sky. It was a bearded man. The person who had arrived had a bearded face, but he was not old. He was a young man. Lu Ming was not surprised. Previously, he had sensed that someone had arrived in the dark. It was this person. However, the rest of the people were shocked. Fu Yuan, it's Fu Yuan. Fu Yuan is here. He doesn't seem to be related to Mulin's. Could he have heard the news and rushed over? Or did he just pass by? Many people exclaimed. Fu Yuan is here too. Mulin's face turned pale, and she looked worried. Fu Yuan's combat power was too strong. He was an invincible divine master who had broken through the pinnacle 3 times. He was currently the most powerful person in the Zongqing divine realm. In the entire Zongqing divine realm, there were only a handful of people who could be on par with Fu Yuan. Rumor had it that Fu Yuan was a descendant of human king Xingxi. He had the bloodline of human king Xingxi and was extremely talented. Moreover, he loved to fight. He had defeated all the top elites in the Zongqing divine realm. As long as he saw an expert, he could not help but want to fight. Now that he had seen Lu Ming's combat power, how could he hold himself back? This was the reason why Mullins was worried. Although Lu Ming was strong, could he be compared to Fu Yuan? Lu Weiyang, on the other hand, was overjoyed. Finally, someone was going to teach Lu Ming a lesson. Lu Ming is a descendant of human king Xingxi. He has the bloodline of a human king and has broken through the pinnacle 3 times. If you can avoid a fight, don't fight with him. Mullins quickly sent a message to Lu Ming. However, she regretted it the moment she said it. She knew Lu Ming well. If she said that, it might arouse Lu Ming's fighting spirit. Descendant of a human king. As expected, there was a flash in Lu Ming's eyes. He was very interested. Lu Ming was sizing up Fu Yuan, and Fu Yuan was sizing up Lu Ming. The interest and fighting spirit in his eyes were obviously stronger. He had fought with the elites of the Zongqing divine realm and the elites of the Forbidden Lands, but he had never fought with a human with an inferior bloodline. He had watched Lu Ming's fight with Yuan Jie and Lu Feng in the dark. It was unbelievable that a human with an inferior bloodline could have such strong combat power. Moreover, with his keen intuition, he felt that Lu Ming had not used his full strength. This made him even more interested. All the cells in his body were excited, and he could not wait to fight with Lu Ming. Make your move. Fight with me. Fu Yuan could not help but say, "Are you also a suitor of Mullins?" Lu Ming asked curiously. A suitor of Mullins? Fu Yuan was slightly stunned, then he laughed. Haha, my interests are not that vulgar. I pursue the ultimate combat power and become an unparalleled combat immortal. Your interests are vulgar, many people thought. Lu Ming was one of them. Come on, cut the crap. I know you didn't use your full strength just now. Come on, I hope you can make me happy, Fu Yuan said impatiently. Lu Ming didn't use his full strength just now? Many people found it hard to believe, but since Fu Yuan said so, could it be true? Since you want to fight, I'll keep you company. Lu Ming swung his war god spear and showed his strong combat power. A top elite of the human race. Lu Ming also wanted to know what methods Fu Yuan had. He had fought with the beings of the Forbidden Lands and the ancestral patriarch of the heavenly human race, but he had never fought with a top elite of the human race. Very good, huh? Fu Yuan laughed and a battle axe appeared in his hand. The battle axe was pitch black and incomparably huge, like a door plank. I want to split open the sky. Fu Yuan hollered. His body and axe became one as he slashed toward Lu Ming. A terrifying crack appeared in the void, and a black light slashed towards Lu Ming at a terrifying speed. The power of this attack alone was much stronger than the combined attack of Yuan Jie and Lu Feng. However, Lu Ming did not care too much. He knew that although Fu Yuan's attack seemed powerful, he did not use his full strength. He did not know Lu Ming's true combat power, so this attack was obviously a test. Buzz. Lu Ming swung his war god spear and swept it out. Chapter 50:10. Lu Ming swept out his spear, and an arc of spear light collided with Fu Yuan's battle axe. Clang. The war god spear collided with the battle axe, causing an earth-shattering explosion. Terrifying energy swept out in all directions. This time, even Mulan didn't dare to stand still. She quickly retreated to avoid the energy that swept towards her. As for the others, they retreated even further. At the point of collision, divine light shone brightly. The two figures separated as soon as they collided and retreated a few thousand meters. He blocked it. Many people widened their eyes in shock. Lu Ming had actually blocked Fu Yuan's attack. At least from the previous move, the two of them were evenly matched. Could Lu Ming really have the combat strength of someone who had broken through the 3rd time? Mulins's beautiful eyes were also full of splendor. To be honest, although she knew Lu Ming very well and was very confident in Lu Ming's combat strength had completely exceeded her expectations. Lu Ming actually had such an achievement in the starry sky of the universe where the desolation qi had dried up. It seemed that the starry sky of the universe had also undergone changes in the past few years. Lu Ming must have experienced a lot and obtained a heaven-defying opportunity. Otherwise, how could Lu Ming have such an achievement in the starry sky of the universe? Mulanza's mind raced, and many thoughts flashed through her mind. Lu Weiyang, on the other hand, was horrified. Lu Ming has an inferior bloodline. How can he have such combat strength? No, this is impossible, Lu Weiyang roared in his heart. He wished that this was a dream. Unfortunately, he clearly knew that this was real and not a dream. No, Fu Yuan has not used his full strength. He has not used his true trump card yet. The battle axe is just a trick he uses to confuse the enemy. Thinking of this, Lu Weiyang's eyes lit up with hope again. Good, interesting. Again. After Fu Yuan retreated, his battle intent became stronger. He shouted and continued to brandish his battle axe toward Lu Ming. His entire body was shrouded in golden light, and even his battle axe was shrouded in golden light. He launched a storm of attacks at Lu Ming. Lu Ming brandished his spear to block the attacks. Clang, clang, clang. The two of them were astonishingly fast. In a breath's time, they had exchanged dozens of blows. It was still a stalemate. A human who has broken through the desolation stage 3 times only has such combat strength? Lu Ming shook his head slightly. He was a little disappointed. Of course, he had not used his full strength. He had been testing Fu Yuan's strength all this while. Fu Yuan's power was very strong, especially the golden power that shocked the world. It should have reached the 7th level of the Emperor-level shocking world record. Its power was very shocking. Although his power was astonishing, his attack power's attack's power. Overall, he was not as strong as the invincible divine masters of the Yi Immortal, or the invincible divine masters from the Yi Immortal. Could it be that the human race was inferior to the creatures in the Forbidden Lands? Lu Ming felt that it was impossible. If that was the case, how could the human race dominate the Eldritch continent? Are you still hiding your strength? Let me force you a little more. Lu Ming smiled secretly and suddenly increased his strength by a fraction. Buzz. The war god's spear vibrated and a terrifying power burst out. The moment it collided with the battle axe, the terrifying power passed through the battle axe and rushed toward Fu Yuan. Fu Yuan's expression changed. The golden light on his body trembled, and his body involuntarily retreated. On the other hand, Lu Ming's body only swayed slightly. This scene shocked the surrounding onlookers. Lu Ming could actually force Fu Yuan to retreat? Terrifying, too terrifying. Fu Yuan's face also turned solemn. However, the fighting spirit in his eyes was even stronger than before. Good, very good. Lu Ming, you did not disappoint me. You have indeed broken through the extreme limit 3 times. You are qualified to see my strongest killing move. Fu Yuan laughed loudly. Then, the battle axe in his hand disappeared and was replaced by a guqin. It was a guqin. It seemed to be filled with the traces of time, but a terrifying aura emanated from it. A top-notch source-level weapon. With Lu Ming's eyesight, he could naturally tell that it was a top-notch source-level weapon. Fu Yuan's killing move was actually the guqin. Could it be that he was going to play the guqin? It was just that his image was too inappropriate, wasn't it? One could imagine a burly man with a full beard playing the guqin. It was too out of place. However, it was obvious that Fu Yuan's killing move was this guqin. The guqin glowed and floated in front of Fu Yuan. Fu Yuan's expression was solemn as he pressed his hands on the guqin. Clang, clang. The sound of the guqin rang out. It was like the clashing of gold and iron, or the sound of a powerful army. When the guqin rang out, dazzling rays of light burst out from the guqin. Then, these rays of light turned into extremely sharp blades that rushed toward Lu Ming. In the blink of an eye, it was as if hundreds and thousands of sharp blades were rushing toward Lu Ming. This was only the attack on the surface. There was also an unintentional ripple that rushed toward Lu Ming and attacked Lu Ming's soul. There were 2 attacks. One attacked the soul, and the other attacked the body. The power instantly surpassed Fu Yuan's battle axe. It's coming, it's coming. Fu Yuan's killing move is coming. Legend has it that human King Xing Shi used a guqin to dominate the world and suppress forbidden lands. He was invincible. Fu Yuan is indeed a descendant of the human king. His killing move is also based on the guqin. Many people exclaimed. Lu Weiyang's eyes lit up. He was full of anticipation. Fu Yuan's killing move had appeared. He was looking forward to seeing Fu Yuan suppress Lu Ming. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Lu Ming shook his battle god spear and stabbed out hundreds and thousands of spear lights. Hundreds and thousands of spear lights burst out and blocked all the sharp blades. As for the soul attack, it was ineffective against him. His soul was scattered among the 60 trillion cells in his body. Unless one attacked all 60 trillion cells at the same time, it would have a significant impact on his soul. Fu Yuan's eyes narrowed. The golden light on his body shone even brighter and surged toward the guqin. The sound of the guqin rang out again. This time, amidst the colorful light, thousands of soldiers and horses rushed toward Lu Ming. These thousands of soldiers and horses were all covered in heavy armor. They were like soldiers who had been through hundreds of battles. They were like the armies of the human race during the prehistoric era. They were invincible. Interesting. This is the true combat power of someone who has broken through 3 times. Lu Ming revealed a faint smile. At this moment, the strength that Fu Yuan displayed was much stronger than before. This was the demeanor of an invincible divine master. He was even slightly stronger than some of the weaker invincible divine masters from the 3 clans of the Forbidden Lands. However, this kind of combat power was no pressure to the current Lu Ming. Lu Ming didn't even activate the battle character manual. Sky-breaking move. Lu Ming used the sky-breaking move. Spear lights burst out and swept across the world. The thousands of soldiers and horses were constantly defeated by the spear lights. The thousands of soldiers and horses couldn't do anything to Lu Ming. Fu Yuan's expression became more and more serious. His hands moved faster and faster as his attacks became more and more violent. However, all the attacks were blocked by Lu Ming. Prehistoric Era. Chapter 5011. The two of them exchanged more than 100 moves. Lu Ming discovered that Fu Yuan had almost reached his limit. His combat strength and the golden light all over his body had a trace of blood-red luster. This meant that Fu Yuan had reached his limit. Then this battle should end. Lu Ming executed the primeval desolation style. A huge piece of land formed above Fu Yuan's head and pressed down on him. The continent was not big, but it was very solid and terrifying. This is the primeval desolation continent? I once saw an ancient map of the primeval desolation continent. Why does his move look so similar to the primeval desolation continent? Even the aura is very similar. What move is this? The surrounding people were in an uproar. They had never heard of someone who could condense the primeval desolation continent to attack the enemy. Fu Yuan's expression was also unprecedentedly solemn. He shouted loudly and poured all the power in his body into the guqin. In the end, the guqin filled the sky with multicolored light and turned into 2 sword lights. One attacked Lu Ming, and the other attacked the primeval desolation continent. Boom! Boom! The sword light that attacked Lu Ming was blocked by Lu Ming. The sword light that attacked the primeval desolation continent collided fiercely with it and eventually collapsed. The primeval desolation continent also exploded. However, the powerful force formed by the explosion of the primeval desolation continent still rushed towards Fu Yuan. Fu Yuan's body shook violently, and he retreated with the guqin. He retreated 100 miles before he could stabilize himself. There was a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth. The scene fell into a dead silence. It took a long time for someone to react. The scene was in an uproar. Fu Yuan vomited blood. This meant that Fu Yuan was defeated. Fu Yuan was actually defeated. He was defeated by an inferior bloodline. This was really unbelievable. Fu Yuan's combat strength was almost invincible in the Azure Divine Realm. There were only a few people who could match him. Such a person was actually defeated by an inferior bloodline. If they had not seen it with their own eyes, they would not have believed it. An inferior bloodline was actually so strong. Obviously, Lu Ming had also broken through 3 times. An inferior bloodline was actually able to break through 3 times. This was unprecedented. That's right. Everyone thought that Lu Ming's battle prowess was at the 3rd stage of breaking through the pinnacle. This was because Lu Ming had controlled his battle prowess very well, and the battle prowess he displayed appeared to be only slightly stronger than Fu Yuan's. Lu Ming still had the intention of hiding his strength. Unless it was absolutely necessary, he did not want to reveal all his cards. If the crowd were to know Lu Ming's true strength, what kind of expression would they have? But even so, everyone's expressions were already very interesting. Mulin's beautiful eyes were full of extraordinary splendor. Needless to say, Lu Weiyang's face was already deathly pale without a trace of blood. His mouth was wide open as if something was stuck in his throat. Amazing, amazing, truly amazing. At that moment, Fu Yuan wiped away the blood at the corner of his mouth and looked at Lu Ming. Not only did the fighting spirit in his eyes not fade, but it became even more intense. Lu Ming, I've decided that you will be my lifelong rival. In this life, my goal is to defeat you. Next time, I will definitely defeat you. Fu Yuan said loudly. Lu Ming was speechless. Big brother, you don't have to be so serious. However, he could see that Fu Yuan did not have any enmity towards him. It was as if Fu Yuan purely treated him as an opponent. Or rather, Fu Yuan treated him as an opponent who would help him improve, not an enemy. All right, I'll wait for the day you defeat me. Lu Ming smiled. Although he said that, he did not take it to heart. He did not think that Fu Yuan would be able to defeat him in the future, even if Fu Yuan had the human monarch bloodline. This was his belief that he was invincible. You're very confident. I like it. Haha, I suffered a small injury today. I'll treat you to a drink another day. Fu Yuan laughed and waved his hand to put away the guqin. He turned around and left, disappearing without a trace in the blink of an eye. He came suddenly and left without hesitation. Oh no, Pang Xiao. Seeing Fu Yuan leave, Lu Weiyang's expression changed drastically as he thought of Pang Xiao. Previously, he had asked someone to invite Pang Xiao. He had originally planned to use Pang Xiao to suppress Lu Ming. However, even Fu Yuan was no match for Lu Ming. If Pang Xiao came, wouldn't he be asking for a beating? Moreover, he was the one who asked someone to invite him. This meant that he was asking Pang Xiao to be beaten up. What would Pang Xiao do to him then? At the thought of this, Lu Weiyang's face turned pale. Send a voice transmission. Yes, yes, yes. Quickly send a voice transmission. Lu Weiyang hurriedly took out a voice transmission jade talisman and sent a voice transmission to his companion. I hope I can make it in time. Lu Weiyang roared in his heart as he prayed silently. Who else wants to challenge me? Come at me together. Lu Ming's gaze swept across the surroundings as his voice spread across the entire place. You're Lu Ming? You're very arrogant. I'd like to see what makes you so arrogant. At this moment, a cold voice was heard. Upon hearing this figure, Lu Weiyang's expression changed drastically. Oh no, it's Pang Xiao. Pang Xiao has arrived so quickly. A figure appeared in the void. It was a young man in a black robe. He had a hooked nose and a cold gaze that was as sharp as a goshawk's. His gaze fell directly on Lu Ming. It's Pang Xiao. The surrounding people also recognized Pang Xiao and had strange looks on their faces. What is Pang Xiao doing here? Could it be that he wants to fight Lu Ming? But even Fu Yuan was defeated. Isn't Pang Xiao asking for a beating? It was obvious that Pang Xiao did not know that Lu Ming had just fought with Fu Yuan. Lu Ming looked at Pang Xiao and said calmly, That's right. I'm Lu Ming. Very good, very good. Today, I'm going to break your claws, Pang Xiao said coldly. His eyes were sharp and filled with murderous intent. He had heard the news that Lu Ming had dared to hug Mulin's in public. This had infuriated him. He had been in seclusion and had immediately ended his seclusion and rushed over. Is that so? I hope you have the ability. Lu Ming said indifferently. Such an attitude infuriated Pang Xiao even more. You hope I have the ability? Ha, you're very confident. Pang Xiao sneered. He glanced at Lu Feng and Yuan Jie and said mockingly, Looks like you've lost? Ha, you're really useless. You can't even deal with an inferior bloodline. Is that so? Then I hope you can avenge us. Lu Feng sneered in response. Yuan Jie was too lazy to answer. They did not remind Pang Xiao that Lu Ming had just defeated Fu Yuan. Pang Zhao's character was not good. He was usually arrogant and overbearing. He had offended many people, and many people wanted him to be beaten. Just you wait, Pang Xiao replied. His disdain grew. He stepped forward and walked toward Lu Ming. He was still very confident. So what if Lu Feng and Yuan Jie had lost? He could easily defeat Lu Feng and Yuan Jie. He was someone who could fight against someone who had broken through 3 levels and come out unscathed. Only one person was the most nervous, and that was Lu Weiyang. He knew very well that Pang Xiao was definitely not Lu Ming's match. The gap between them was huge. Chapter 50:12. Pang Zhao's strongest battle record was being able to retreat unscathed after exchanging more than 10 blows with an invincible Divine Lord. That invincible Divine Lord had not pursued him because he had other matters to attend to. If the battle had continued, Pang Xiao would have lost without a doubt, and he would have lost miserably. Lu Ming, on the other hand, had defeated a powerful invincible Divine Lord head-on. The two of them were on completely different levels. Thus, when he saw that Pang Xiao was about to attack, Lu Weiyang hurriedly rushed forward and stopped Pang Xiao. He squeezed out a smile that was uglier than crying and said, Pang Xiao, in my opinion, let's just forget about it. A person like you doesn't need to lower yourself to the level of someone with an inferior bloodline. Pang Zhao's sharp eyes stared at Lu Weiyang and said, if it were any other matter, I wouldn't have bothered to pursue a mere inferior bloodline. However, he committed a grave mistake. He actually dared to lay his hands on Mulan's. This is courting death. This matter cannot be forgiven. Lu Weiyang, step aside. Pang Xiao, forget it. Just forget it. Lu Weiyang continued to persuade him. Lu Weiyang, what's wrong with you? You sent someone to call me here, and now you're stopping me. What? Are you afraid that I'm not Lu Ming's match? Pang Zhao's face turned completely cold. It was obvious that he was extremely unhappy. No, I didn't mean that, Lu Weiyang said. He was truly a little afraid of Pang Xiao. Although he had a backer, Pang Zhao's backer was even stronger than his. Pang Xiao was not afraid of him at all. You watch for me. Within 10 moves, I will definitely cripple Lu Ming's claws. Pang Xiao coldly said. A powerful aura radiated from him, forcing Lu Weiyang to retreat. As for Pang Xiao, he continued to walk towards Lu Ming. Seeing that he could not stop Pang Xiao, Lu Weiyang gritted his teeth and shouted, Brother Pang, before you came, Lu Ming and Fu Yuan had already exchanged blows? Pang Xiao, who was moving forward, suddenly stopped. His body stiffened for a moment before he slowly turned around and stared at Lu Weiyang. Who did you say? Fu Yuan? Lu and Fu Yuan exchanged blows? Yes, Lu Weiyang could only nod his head. Impossible. Pang Xiao subconsciously felt that it was impossible. However, Lu Weiyang would definitely not lie to him about such things. After asking around, he would know the truth. He then continued to ask, how many moves did they exchange? He had clearly observed Lu Ming just now. Lu Ming was unscathed and had a strong aura. How could he be unscathed after exchanging blows with Fu Yuan? He felt that Lu Ming might have only exchanged 1 or 2 moves with Fu Yuan to test his strength. Unfortunately, Lu Weiyang's answer made his jaw drop. More than 100 moves. Lu Weiyang said. Impossible. Lu Weiyang, you dare to lie to me? Pang Xiao finally could not help but roar. Even he could not remain unscathed after exchanging more than 100 moves with Fu Yuan. How could Lu Ming, who had an inferior bloodline, do it? His first reaction was to think that Lu Weiyang was lying to him. Lu Weiyang was shocked and quickly explained, No, I didn't lie to you. Everyone here saw it. If you don't believe me, you can ask anyone. Pang Zhao's gaze swept across the others and found that they were looking at him as if they were watching a good show. He knew that Lu Weiyang was telling the truth. Lu Ming could actually exchange blows with Fu Yuan and remain unscathed. Such battle prowess was definitely above his. Damn it. Damn it. Pang Xiao kept roaring in his heart. If Lu Ming had such battle prowess, How could he make a move? If he did not dare to make a move, then wouldn't he become a joke when he came aggressively and said that he would defeat Lu Ming in 10 moves? Shameful. It was too shameful. He was unable to restrain his anger and stood there in a daze. His eyes kept changing and his face kept twisting. Conflicted. Brother Pang, in the battle between Lu Ming and Fu Yuan, not only was he unscathed, he even defeated Fu Yuan. Lu Weiyang reminded him in a soft voice. He saw that Pang Xiao was conflicted and was afraid that Pang Xiao would find Lu Ming to fight. If that happened, he would definitely be defeated by Lu Ming. Rather than being humiliated then, he might as well remind him now. What? Pang Xiao looked at Lu Weiyang in shock and then looked at Lu Ming, thinking that he had heard wrongly. Previously, he thought that it was already incredible that Lu Ming could exchange blows with Fu Yuan and remain unscathed. He never expected that Lu Ming would actually defeat Fu Yuan. He really thought that he was dreaming. However, he knew that all this was very likely to be real. It was impossible for Lu Weiyang to lie in public. No wonder he did not see Fu Yuan. It was most likely that Fu Yuan had been defeated and left. How could an inferior bloodline be so strong? But he could not figure it out. What should he do now? Should he retreat? However, he had come aggressively and confidently. If he ran away before he even made a move, he was destined to become a joke. Lu Feng, Yuan Jie, and the others would definitely not let go of such an opportunity. They would definitely publicize his embarrassing performance. In the future, he would not be able to continue pursuing Mulin's. It would be good enough if he could even raise his head in the Azure Divine Realm. But he would definitely not allow such a thing to happen. Not only did he have to prove himself in front of Mulin's, but he also had to make a name for himself and let everyone know how powerful he was. His mind raced and he quickly came up with an idea. Pang Xiao, right? Why are you still standing there? Didn't you say that you would defeat me in 10 moves? Why aren't you attacking? At that moment, Lu Ming's indifferent voice sounded. Everyone looked at Pang Xiao as if they were watching a good show. They wanted to see how he would respond. If he accepted the challenge, he was destined to be defeated by Lu Ming. If he retreated without a fight, it would be a joke. If he had to blame someone, he could only blame himself for being too confident and speaking too confidently before. Now he was in a dilemma. Lu Ming, right? Do you know the strength of the Pang family in the Azure Divine Realm? We have at least 5 Origin Realm cultivators and a top elite above the Origin Realm. In a few hundred years, they will all awaken. You should know the consequences of offending me. No, you dared to hug Mulin's. You've already offended me. Now, I'll give you a chance to redeem yourself. Pretend to fight with me and lose after 100 moves. Then I'll let bygones be bygones. At that moment, Pang Xiao's voice sounded in Lu Ming's ears. Pang Xiao was sending him a message. He wanted him to pretend to lose to Pang Xiao? Was this guy an idiot? Lu Ming looked at Pang Xiao as if he was looking at an idiot. Lu Ming, you'd better think it through. You should know the consequences of offending me. After the Origin Realm tribulation is over, I'll make sure you suffer a fate worse than death. Pang Xiao continued to threaten him via telepathy. This was the most perfect method he could think of in a hurry. Lu Ming had defeated Fu Yuan. If he could defeat Lu Ming, what would that mean? It would mean that his combat strength had surpassed Fu Yuan's. He could take the opportunity to become famous. Not only would he perform well in front of Mulin's, but he would also be known as an invincible expert. It could be said that he could kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Chapter 5013. Pang Xiao also knew that this method was actually very low level. It was actually just a trick, a threat. If it was against other Firmament Divine Realm geniuses, especially those who could defeat Fu Yuan, it was impossible for him to use this trick because it would definitely be useless. However, it was not necessarily the case for Lu Ming. Before he came, he had already learned from Lu Weiyang's friends that Lu Ming came from the Eastern Universe. In the Western Universe, Lu Ming could be said to be alone. He had no relatives and no backing. Without any backing, Lu Ming had to lie down no matter how strong he was. A powerful dragon could not defeat a snake in its old haunts. His Pang family was extremely powerful and had many experts. Although they had sealed themselves during the Origin Tribulation, The origin tribulation would be over in a few hundred years. At that time, those origin realm experts would awaken. What would Lu Ming be then? He would still be a pushover. Therefore he threatened Lu Ming. However, how could he know that Lu Ming would not be threatened? Lu Ming hated it the most in his life when others threatened him. Haha, Pang Xiao, you actually threatened me and asked me to pretend to lose to you. Ridiculous. You are a genius who has broken through twice. How could you say such a ridiculous joke? Lu Ming laughed loudly and his voice spread throughout the entire place. Rumble. Pang Xiao felt his head explode, as if there was a sudden clap of thunder, almost causing him to faint. His face suddenly turned red. Lu Ming, you deserve to die, Pang Xiao roared in exasperation. He never thought that Lu Ming would actually say out his threat. He originally thought that there was at least a 50% chance that Lu Ming would be afraid of his threat and agree to his request. Even if he did not agree to his request, he would never say out his threat directly because that would offend him. It would be a situation where he would fight to the death. But now, not only did he lose face in front of Mulin's, he also lost face in front of his competitors. Soon, this matter would spread throughout the entire Azure Divine Realm. He, Pang Xiao, would become a true joke. This was even more laughable than him being defeated by Lu Ming. Everyone looked at Pang Xiao with disdain. Pang Xiao wished he could dig a hole in the ground and hide in it. Damn it, it's all Lu Ming's fault. It's all because of that damned bastard. Pang Xiao roared madly in his heart, and his face twisted into a ferocious expression. At this moment his hatred for Lu Ming was monstrous. But did Lu Ming care? If others didn't offend him, he wouldn't offend them either. However, Pang Xiao had offered himself up to be slapped. How could he refuse? As for the expert behind Pang Xiao, that would be hundreds of years later. Hundreds of years later he would take Mulin's back to the Heaven Destroyer base. At that time, Fei Huang would wake up and there would be the experts of the Heaven Destroyer. Why would he be afraid of the expert behind Pang Xiao? He wasn't even afraid of the creatures in the Forbidden Grounds. He had only offended Pang Xiao's faction, not the entire human race in the Azure Divine Realm. Moreover, Mulin's master was a top figure in the Azure Divine Realm. When the time came, would Mulin's help him? Lu Ming, just you wait. Pang Xiao left a harsh sentence and turned to leave. Before leaving, he glanced coldly at Lu Weiyang. This time, the reason why he was so embarrassed was entirely because of Lu Weiyang. Otherwise, why would he come here to embarrass himself when he was cultivating in seclusion? Lu Weiyang shuddered when Pang Xiao glanced at him coldly. His face suddenly turned pale and he revealed a smile that was uglier than crying. Lu Ming didn't stop Pang Xiao from leaving. There was no need to stop him. What he said just now was more effective than torturing Pang Xiao. After Pang Xiao left, Lu Weiyang also left. Goodbye. Goodbye. Then the others also left. Why would they continue to stay? To embarrass themselves? Even a fool could see that the relationship between Lu Ming and Mulin's was unusual. Lu Ming hugged Mulin's before, but Mulin's didn't seem angry at all. What if they tried? It was good enough that they didn't break their limbs. Would they continue to stay and be the third wheel? In the blink of an eye, no one was left. Only Lu Ming, Han Yu, and Mulin's maids were left. Brother Lu, I'll also take my leave. Han Yu cupped her fists and stuttered. She was mainly too surprised. She was surprised by the relationship between Lu Ming and Mulin's, and even more shocked by Lu Ming's combat strength. Lu Ming's combat strength was completely beyond her expectations. What did she just see? Lu Ming actually defeated Fu Yuan. Oh my god, she couldn't stay calm at all. After Han Yu left, the maids also found excuses to leave. They weren't stupid. They knew that the relationship between Lu Ming and Mulin's was unusual, and they hadn't seen each other for a long time. Naturally, they wouldn't stay and get in the way. Soon, only Lu Ming and Mulin's were left in the vicinity of Sky Orchid Garden. Lu Ming walked over and grabbed Mulin's hand. Mulin's body trembled slightly and she let Lu Ming grab her hand. Senior Sister Mulin's, long time no see. Senior Sister has become more and more beautiful. Lu Ming looked into Mulin's eyes affectionately and said, Junior brother, you're still so glib. Have you deceived many girls over the years? Mulan said. Although she said that, her heart was as sweet as honey. Lu Ming's attitude towards her was completely different from before. It was said that distance makes the heart grow fonder. It seemed to be true. Of course not. All these years, junior brother has been thinking about senior sister. Lu Ming said affectionately. The two of them hadn't seen each other for a long time, so what followed was naturally tender and sweet words. After a long time, by the way, senior sister, Huang Ling left with senior sister. Where is she now? Is she also in the Azure Divine Realm? Seeing that it was about time, Lu Ming asked the question in his heart. The reason why he didn't ask Huang Ling at the beginning was, of course, because he was afraid that Mulan's would be jealous. Huang Ling sighed. Hearing Lu Ming mention Huang Ling, Mulan sighed. Lu Ming's heart tightened, and a bad premonition arose spontaneously. Could it be that Huang Ling had met with misfortune? Lu Ming didn't dare to think further and hurriedly asked, Senior Sister Mulan's, could it be that Huang Ling has already? His voice was filled with worry. Junior brother, don't think too much. Huang Ling might not have met with misfortune. She has fallen into some ancient ruins. Mulan said. Fallen into some ancient ruins? Senior Sister Mulan's, what's going on? What happened to you back then? Lu Ming continued to ask. Junior brother, don't be anxious. I'll tell you slowly. Back then, Huang Ling and I went on an adventure together and accidentally entered an ancient teleportation platform. We didn't expect the teleportation platform to be activated by accident. Huang Ling and I were teleported away by the teleportation platform to an uninhabited continent. We also found that we couldn't be teleported back. We waited on that continent fragment for decades. Seeing that no one came, we could only continue forward. Immediately, Mulan's briefly recounted her experiences over the years. Chapter 50:14. Mulan's and Huang Ling had taken the same path as Lu Ming. Mulan's and Huang Ling had been teleported to the first continent fragment. They had wanted to take the teleportation array back, but unfortunately, the other end of the teleportation array had exploded. They could not return, so they had waited on the continent fragment. They had wanted to wait for Lu Ming on the other end to discover that they were missing, repair the teleportation array, and bring them back. Unfortunately, Lu Ming and Lu Ming's acquaintances had not been able to repair the teleportation array at that time. They had waited for decades without seeing Lu Ming, so they could only continue to move forward through the teleportation array. Halfway through, they had come to a stone house and obtained a heaven-defying opportunity there. Not only had they obtained several treasures, but they had also absorbed the creation jade liquid in the creation jade pool. Their bodies had undergone earth-shattering changes. Not only had their cultivation improved greatly, but their talent and potential had also undergone earth-shattering changes. They had stayed in the stone house for a few years before continuing on their journey to the Western universe. At that time, the universe ruins had not yet recovered, and the creatures of the Forbidden Lands had not yet appeared. The entire Western universe was dead silent. They had carefully wandered in the Western universe, trying to find a way back. In the end, they had mistakenly entered an ancient ruin. They had stayed in that ruin for many years. In the end, Huang Ling had been trapped in that ruin, and Mulan's had luckily escaped. When Mulan's had left the ruin, she had discovered that the creatures of the Forbidden Lands had already appeared in the universe. Although there were few of them, they were very powerful. Mulan's had not dared to meet these creatures of the Forbidden Lands. She had carefully wandered the universe. Later, she had accidentally opened the seal of the Tsangqing Divine Realm. After that, Mulan's had naturally stayed in the Tsangqing Divine Realm and had been accepted as a disciple by an important figure. Through Mulan's narration, Lu Ming had a timeline in his heart that had become clearer and clearer. In the beginning, Mulan's and Huang Ling had entered the ancient teleportation path and obtained the heaven-defying opportunity on the ancient teleportation path. Then they had come to the Western universe. At that time, the creatures in the Forbidden Lands of the Western universe had yet to awaken, the universe had yet to recover, and the great calamity of the origins had yet to descend. Then, the two girls accidentally entered an ancient ruin and stayed there for many years. During this time, Huang Ling was trapped and Mulan's managed to escape. When Mulan's escaped, The creatures of the forbidden area had already begun to appear, but their numbers were still very small. Because at this time, the universe began to recover, and the cultivation conditions became better. Then, Mulins unintentionally opened the seal of the Ashen Cyan Divine Realm, and the humans of the Ashen Cyan Divine Realm were born. After many years, the expert of the 9 demonic spider clan broke into the ancient teleportation path. Then, Dandan repaired the teleportation array and the 9 demonic spider appeared in the universe. From the looks of it, the creatures of the forbidden lands in the Western universe woke up earlier than the ones in the Eastern universe. A thought flashed through Lu Ming's mind and he asked, "Senior sister, where is the ancient ruin that Huang Ling is trapped in? Is it dangerous?" Lu Ming was really worried. According to Mulins, Huang Ling had been trapped in that place for tens of thousands of years. Lu Ming could not help but be worried. It's hard to say whether it's dangerous or not. Over the years, I've read a lot of information and finally found out the origin of that ruin. That ruin should be a sacred place of the demon race of the primordial world of the last era. Huang Ling has the Phoenix bloodline. The Phoenix is one of the strongest races of the demon race of the primordial world. I believe Huang Ling should be fine. Mulins explained. The sacred place of the primordial world demon race. Lu Ming was shocked. The primordial world demon race was one of the 3 strongest races of the primordial world. Lu Ming could not help but worry. Although Huang Ling had the Phoenix bloodline, he knew very well that it was only the Phoenix bloodline of the minor Kiliacosm. The demon race of the universe and the minor Kiliacosm had impure bloodlines. It was very likely that they evolved from the flesh and blood of the primordial world demon race after they died in battle. There was a huge difference between them and the real primordial world demon race. Even if it was the Phoenix bloodline, it was a mixed blood Phoenix bloodline. It was worlds apart from the Phoenix of the primordial world. Could this be Huang Ling's protective amulet? Everything was hard to say. Lu Ming could not wait to rush over and rescue Huang Ling. Where is the sacred place of the primordial world demon race? How long will it take to set off from here? Lu Ming asked hurriedly. He did not plan to let Mulins go with him. He planned to go alone to deal with Huang Ling. However, how could Mulins not know what Lu Ming was thinking? Junior brother Lu Ming, you want to go alone to deal with Huang Ling, right? I know you're eager to save her, and so am I. However, if we go there now, we won't be able to enter the sacred place of the demon race. Mulins said. Won't be able to enter? Senior sister, what's going on? Over the years, through all kinds of information and personal investigations, I discovered that the sacred place of the primordial world demon race is shrouded in layers of restrictions. The restrictions will only weaken at specific times. That is the time to enter. The last time Huang Ling and I entered, it happened to be when the restrictions were at their weakest. The next time the restrictions weaken, it will be a year later. This time, I broke through to the second extreme break this time, and I also plan to enter the sacred place of the demon race a year later to deal with Huang Ling, Mulins explained. A year later, Lu Ming muttered, feeling a little helpless. It seemed like he could only wait a year later. More than 10,000 years had passed. If Huang Ling was still alive, he believed that 1 year would not make a difference. Junior brother Lu Ming, how did you get here? Your battle prowess has actually broken through the boundary 3 times. You really surprised your senior sister. You must have experienced a lot over the years. Mulins changed the topic and looked at Lu Ming confidently. After more than 10,000 years, Lu Ming was still the same Lu Ming, but his temperament had changed a lot. She wanted to imprint Lu Ming's appearance deeply in her heart. Ever since you left, Lu Ming also briefly recounted his experiences over the years. Although Lu Ming had already briefly recounted it, Mulan was still shaken to the core when she listened to him. After that, Lu Ming did not return to his residence. Instead, he stayed in Sky Orchid Garden. When the news spread, the hearts of many geniuses in the Tsongqing Divine Realm were broken. Lu Ming was staying in Sky Orchid Garden and had an unusual relationship with Mulins. What would happen between the two of them? The thought of what might happen between the two of them made the young geniuses go crazy with jealousy. They wished that they could replace Lu Ming. Among them, the one who was the most upset was Lu Weiyang. After Lu Weiyang returned, he could not sit still and could not eat or sleep. This time, Pang Xiao had suffered a great humiliation because of him. Would he bear a grudge against him? Would he seek revenge? The more he thought about it, the more afraid he became. Lu Ming, it's all because of Lu Ming. Why is this bastard with an inferior bloodline so strong? Damn it! Lu Weiyang roared in his heart and cursed Lu Ming fiercely. Then he thought of a way to prevent Pang Xiao from taking revenge. Chapter 50-15. Young Master Lu, what should we do now? I'm afraid that Pang Xiao will hold a grudge against us. A young man next to Lu Weiyang said worriedly. Of course, we'll take the initiative to find Pang Xiao and apologize to him. Lu Weiyang said. This time, Pang Xiao suffered a great humiliation. He might not accept our apology easily. The young man was still worried. Under normal circumstances, that would be the case. However, if I have a way to let him take revenge on Lu Ming, or even kill Lu Ming, then Pang Xiao won't blame us. Lu Weiyang said, his eyes flashing with a hint of conspiracy. Young Master Lu, do you have a plan? The young men's eyes lit up. That's right. Let's go find Pang Xiao. Lu Weiyang said. However, when Lu Weiyang and the others saw Pang Xiao's eyes were extremely cold and he almost attacked them. However, when Lu Weiyang said that he had a way to deal with Lu Ming, Pang Xiao's attitude improved a lot. You said that you have a way to deal with Lu Ming? What is it? Tell me. If you dare lie to me, even that grandfather of yours won't be able to protect you. Pang Xiao's voice was cold. Brother Pang, don't worry. According to my plan, Lu Ming will most likely die. Even if he has the battle strength of an invincible divine lord, can he deal with multiple invincible divine lords at the same time? Lu Weiyang sneered. Hurry up and tell me. What's the plan? Pang Xiao urged anxiously. Brother Pang, you should know about Zhu Tian, right? Lu Weiyang said. Nonsense. Who doesn't know the top expert of the 9 demonic spider race, Zhu Tian? But did Lu Ming offend Zhu Tian? Pang Xiao said. Zhu Tian's younger brother, Zhu Shi, died at the hands of Lu Ming. Moreover, one of Zhu Shi's top source-level divine herbs was also snatched away by Lu Ming. Lu Weiyang sneered. Pang Xiao's eyes lit up. He understood what Lu Weiyang meant. If he revealed this information to Zhu Tian would never let Lu Ming go. He would probably come straight to Changqing Immortal Realm. However, although Zhu Tian is strong, I'm afraid he can't do anything to Lu Ming by himself. Pang Xiao said. Zhu Tian's strength was absolutely astonishing. There was no doubt about this, because Zhu Tian had defeated other invincible god lords more than once. It could be said that as an invincible god lord who had broken through 3 levels, Zhu Tian's combat strength was also top-notch. However, one must not forget that Lu Ming had defeated Fu Yuan not long ago. Zhu Tian might not be able to defeat Lu Ming. Brother Pang, you don't have to worry. Zhu Tian isn't the only invincible god lord in the 9 demonic spider race. Zhu Tian has a good relationship with many invincible god lords, so Zhu Tian might not be the only one coming. Even if it's only Zhu Tian, it's fine. I think that Moken of the extreme evil race also died at the hands of Lu Ming. The 2 source-level divine herbs that Moken had also fallen into the hands of Lu Ming. The extreme evil race won't let this matter go. Lu Weiyang said, looking like he had the pearl of wisdom in his hands. Moken also died at the hands of Lu Ming? Are you sure about this? Pang Xiao was a little suspicious. Most likely. There's absolutely no mistake. Lu Weiyang immediately told him about how Lu Ming had met Moken and the others along the way, and how Lu Ming had found an excuse to leave for a while. At first, I didn't suspect Lu Ming too much because Moken was in existence who had broken through 2 levels and there were other experts present. I didn't think that Lu Ming could deal with Moken and the others, but it's different now. Lu Ming actually defeated Fu Yuan. With such combat strength, he could easily kill Moken and the others. I'm sure that Lu Ming left at that time to kill Moken and the others and take the 2 source-level divine herbs. Lu Weiyang said firmly. He was 100% sure that it was Lu Ming. If it were him, with the strength of an invincible divine master, he would definitely not let Moken and the others go. Those were two source-level divine herbs. How precious were source-level divine herbs? Even Origin Realm experts would be tempted, especially for peak divine masters. They could greatly increase the speed and probability of breaking through to the Origin Realm. Which peak divine master wouldn't be tempted after knowing this? In that case, Moken must have died at the hands of Lu Ming. Very good. Lu Weiyang, if you can use the 9 demonic spider and the extreme evil race to kill Lu Ming this time, the grudge between us will be written off. Pang Xiao said. After saying that, a strong killing intent flashed in his eyes. This killing intent was naturally targeted at Lu Ming. Brother Pang, do you have a way to send the news to the Zhu Tian and the extreme evil race? Lu Weiyang asked joyfully. Don't worry. It won't be long before the 9 demonic spider and the extreme evil race arrive. Pang Xiao said coldly. In the blink of an eye, Lu Ming had stayed in Heavenly Orchid Garden for more than 10 days. During these 10 days, Lu Ming discovered how extraordinary Mulan's was. Mulan's bloodline was very similar to that of the people in the Azure Divine Realm. It was very pure and high level. It constantly emitted a strong pressure to people with inferior bloodlines like Lu Ming. Of course, Lu Ming could ignore this pressure if he used a little forbidden power. The reason why Mulan had such a powerful and pure bloodline was because she had absorbed the Fortune Jade Nectar on the ancient teleportation path and evolved. According to Mulan's, the Phoenix spirit had also undergone a transformation. Her human and Phoenix bloodlines were greatly improved at the same time. In addition, Lu Ming was shocked by the few treasures of Mulan. Their levels were definitely very high, especially one of the gemstones. Lu Ming couldn't see how powerful it was. He only felt that it was unfathomable. Lu Ming heard from Han Yu that Mulan's had once used this gem to open the seal of the Azure Divine Realm. One day, Han Yu suddenly looked for Lu Ming and informed him of a piece of news. Outside the Chongqing Divine Realm, there was a powerhouse who challenged Lu Ming by name. Challenging me? Who is it? Lu Ming asked curiously. It's the 9 demonic spider and the extreme evil race. Han Yu said worriedly. The 9 demonic spider and the extreme evil race? Lu Ming frowned slightly. He thought of Zhu Shi and Moken. Did something happen? The leader of the 9 demonic spider is Zhu Tian. The leader of the extreme evil race is Mo Sha. They want you to get out and die. Brother Lu, you must be careful. Han Yu reminded him. Zhu Tian and Mo Sha, why are they challenging you, junior brother? Mulan's expression also changed. These two people were both invincible divine masters. Especially Zhu Tian. He had defeated other invincible divine masters more than once. In the Azure Divine Realm, there were invincible divine masters who had been defeated by Zhu Tian. Mo Sha of the extreme evil race was also a terrifying person. His methods were extremely cruel and unpredictable. He was very difficult to deal with. When did Lu Ming offend these two experts? Even though Lu Ming had the combat power to defeat Fu Yuan, Mulan's couldn't help but worry. It seems that something has happened. How did they know? Right, Lu Ming? Lu Ming's eyes flashed. Chapter 5016. Lu Ming immediately thought of Lu Weiyang. Lu Weiyang had seen him kill Zhu Shi with his own eyes. There was also Moken. Since he knew that Lu Ming had the power of an invincible divine master, it wasn't hard for him to guess that Lu Ming had left halfway to kill Moken. Not only Lu Weiyang, Han Yu also thought of it. But Han Yu and the others had no reason to betray Lu Ming, so only Lu Weiyang was left. Are there many people from the two races? Lu Ming asked. There are at least dozens of people from the two races and they are all experts. I guess that besides Zhu Tian and Mo Sha, there might be other experts who have broken through the third level. Lu Ming, don't be rash, Han Yu said. Han Yu said. She wanted to remind Lu Ming not to accept the challenge. Junior brother, I think there is no need to accept the challenge. Anyway, the Chongqing Divine Realm is protected by a powerful array. They can't come in. Let them guard outside. Mulan's words were more direct. Don't worry. I won't accept the challenge. Lu Ming smiled. He was already past the age of being impulsive. He wouldn't fight to the death just because someone cursed him. Although he wasn't afraid of the other party, why would he fight if he didn't have to? Wouldn't it be better to let the other party curse him outside? After that, Lu Ming continued to live in Heavenly Orchid Garden and ignored the outside world. But as time passed, the news had spread throughout the Tsongqing Divine Realm. Outside the Tsongqing Divine Realm, dozens of experts from the 9-yin demonic spider and the extreme evil race gathered and cursed Lu Ming every day. It's been a few days. Lu Ming still hasn't accepted the challenge? I heard that Lu Ming's power is amazing. He defeated Fu Yuan. Why would he be afraid of him? Many people were talking about it. During this time, Lu Ming, Lu Feng, Yuan Jie, and the others fought over Mulan's, and Lu Ming defeated Fu Yuan. The news had already spread. Lu Ming's name shook the entire Azure Divine Realm. An inferior bloodline had actually defeated Fu Yuan, who possessed the bloodline of the Holy Luminance. This was truly unbelievable. Therefore, when the elites of the 9-yin demon spider and the extreme evil race came to challenge Lu Ming, it shocked the entire Tsongqing godly realm. In my opinion, Lu Ming is just afraid and doesn't dare to accept the challenge. That's right. Although he defeated Fu Yuan, I'm guessing that it was mostly due to luck. Either that, or he has some kind of explosive secret technique. After using it once, the aftereffects are huge, or he can only last for a short time. It's normal that he doesn't dare to accept the challenge. He's too cowardly. He's an expert who's broken through 3 times, yet he doesn't dare to accept the challenge when someone is right at his doorstep. He's been insulted every day and doesn't dare to accept the challenge. What a shame. Such words were secretly spread throughout the Tsongqing godly realm. Of course, these words were secretly spread by people sent by Pang Shao and Lu Weiyang. They wanted to provoke Lu Ming into making a move. If Lu Ming didn't make a move, they would also be very anxious. Such words also reached Lu Ming's ears through Mulan's servant girls. However, Lu Ming smiled faintly and didn't seem to care. He immediately knew that these words were spread by people with ulterior motives to provoke him into making a move. He wouldn't let these people have their way. Wasn't it better to stay in Heavenly Orchid Garden and cultivate? Every month he would receive 8 drops of Origin Spirit medicinal liquid and spend the rest of his time comprehending Genesis techniques. His progress was extremely fast. Through this period of comprehension, his understanding of Genesis techniques had deepened, and his understanding was much clearer than before. He firmly believed that if he continued to improve like this, he might be able to comprehend Genesis techniques before breaking through to the Origin realm. There were very few people who could comprehend Genesis techniques before breaking through to the Origin realm. For the time being, apart from Bone Demon, Xian Yanqing, Gu Changfeng, Yi Immortal and a few others, he hadn't seen anyone else who could comprehend Genesis techniques at the Almighty stage. Even the peerless geniuses in the Forbidden Zones hadn't seen them before. Gu Changfeng, Bone Demon, Xian Yanqing and the others still relied on the 4 statues in Purple Heaven Utopia. Lu Ming's heart ached when he thought of the 4 statues. At this moment he knew that the 4 statues were most definitely top-notch treasures. They were extremely rare. Otherwise, there wouldn't be so few people in the universe who could comprehend Genesis techniques at the Almighty stage. Unfortunately, the 4 statues couldn't be taken away at that time. Later, when Purple Heaven Utopia collapsed, the 4 statues drifted into the depths of space and no one knew where they ended up. Just like that, Lu Ming stayed in Heavenly Orchid Garden to cultivate. In the blink of an eye, another month had passed. Lu Ming cultivated quietly, while Lu Weiyang and Pang Shao were furious. Lu Ming is trash. He doesn't even dare to accept the challenge. What a piece of trash. Pang Shao cursed angrily. Inferior bloodline is inferior bloodline. He's as timid as a mouse. I really overestimated him before. Lu Weiyang also cursed angrily. If Lu Ming didn't go out, wouldn't their plan to get someone else to do the dirty work for them be impossible? They were so angry that they couldn't wait to drag Lu Ming out and throw him in front of Zhu Tian and the others. Lu Weiyang, do you have any ideas to force Lu Ming to go out? Pang Shao looked at Lu Weiyang. Force Lu Ming to go out? Lu Weiyang pondered for a while. After a while, Lu Weiyang's eyes lit up. I have an idea. It's not impossible to force Lu Ming to go out. Lu Weiyang said. What is it? Tell me quickly. Pang Shao hurriedly urged, Mulins? Lu Weiyang's eyes flashed with viciousness. The relationship between Lu Ming and Mulins is obviously unusual. If Mulins is caught by Zhu Tian and the others, do you think Lu Ming can sit still? I'm afraid he will take the initiative to kill Zhu Tian and the others. But Brother Pang, you are deeply in love with Mulins. I'm afraid you won't be willing to do that. Bloodmyas, that sword man actually likes an inferior bloodline. Sooner or later, I will make him pay the price. Okay, let's do it. But how can we make Mulins fall into the hands of Zhu Tian and the others? Mulins has been living in the Heavenly Orchid Garden with Lu Ming. How can we make them separate? Pang Xiao said. Mulins and Du Ling are very close, aren't they? They are as close as sisters. As long as we take Du Ling and force her to send a message to Mulins and let her leave the Azure Divine Realm alone, we can ask Zhu Tian and the others to take Mulins and force Lu Ming to take action. The difficulty is how to communicate with Zhu Tian and the others and let them cooperate. Lu Weiyang said. Leave it to me. Pang Xiao said. Lu Weiyang's eyes flashed. It seemed that Pang Xiao had a good relationship with the creatures in the Forbidden Lands. There's one more thing that is very important. After this is done, we can't let Du Ling live, lest she leaves behind any evidence. Lu Weiyang said, his eyes flashing with a ruthless light. Do I need you to tell me that? Let's start. Pang Xiao sneered. A few days passed in the blink of an eye. On this day, Mulins received a message from Du Ling. The message said that Mulins was to go to a certain place alone. If she went with another person, Du Ling would be in great danger. Something happened to Du Ling. Mulins's face darkened. Du Ling was very close to her. When she first arrived in the Azure Divine Realm, she was unfamiliar with the place and the first person she met was Du Ling. She couldn't ignore Du Ling's accident. Chapter 50:17. Mulins didn't expect that all of this was a plot against Lu Ming. She simply thought that something had happened to Du Ling. Therefore, Mulins didn't tell Lu Ming this news. She quietly left Sky Orchid Garden and headed out of Tsongqing Godly Realm. Mulins purposely avoided Zhu Tian, Mo Sha, and the others. However, not long after she left Tsongqing Godly Realm, she was surrounded. Those who surrounded her were Zhu Tian, Mo Sha, and the others. I've been tricked. As soon as she saw Zhu Tian, Mo Sha, and the others, Mulins knew that she had been tricked. These people wanted to take her down and force Lu Ming to come out and fight. Mulins certainly wouldn't give up. She tried her best to break out of the encirclement. However, although she had the combat strength of a second-time GG Breaker, there was a huge difference between a third-time GG Breaker and a second-time GG Breaker. Moreover, there was more than one third-time GG Breaker. Mulins couldn't break out of the encirclement. She didn't even have time to transmit her voice before she was captured by Zhu Tian and Mo Sha. Lu Ming bad news. On this day, Han Yu rushed into Sky Orchid Garden with a pale face. Lu Ming's heart sank. Han Yu, what happened? Senior Sister Mulins has been captured by Zhu Tian and Mo Sha. Han Yu hurriedly said. What? Lu Ming was shocked. He quickly spread out his spiritual awareness and covered Mulin's room. As expected, he found that Mulin's room was empty. Lan Xiang, what's going on? When did your miss leave? Lu Ming's figure flashed and appeared in front of one of Mulin's maids. Lu Ming and Mulin's were cultivating in different rooms. Therefore, Lu Ming didn't know when Mulin's left. I don't know. I don't know when Miss Mulin's left either. Lan Xiang shook her head repeatedly. Something must have happened. Otherwise, Senior Sister Mulin's would have informed me when she left. Lu Ming frowned. Lu Ming, what should we do? Zhu Tian, Mo Sha, and the others said that they want you to go out and suffer. Otherwise, it will be disadvantageous to Mulin's. Han Yu said. Since they want to die, let's grant them their wish. Let's go. Lu Ming's voice was extremely cold. He had not seen Mulin's for many years, and he was filled with guilt towards her. Now, these people were actually using Mulin's to threaten him. He was completely enraged. Originally, he did not want to pay attention to these people, but now, he wanted to kill them. Immediately, Han Yu led the way and rushed toward the exit with Lu Ming. Outside one of the exits of the Azure Divine Realm, There were two groups of people facing each other in the void. One of them was the 9-in demon spider and the extreme evil race led by Zhu Tian and Emo Sha. The other group was the human experts of the Firmament Divine Realm. Many people in the Firmament Divine Realm knew that Mulins had fallen into the hands of Zhu Tian and Emo Sha. They were furious and rushed over. However, the human experts did not attack, mainly because they were afraid of Zhu Tian and Emo Sha. Although they had the advantage in numbers, no one was a match for Zhu Tian and Emo Sha. The main reason was that there were no experts who had broken through 3 times. Zhu Tian, Emo Sha, you are despicable. How dare you use a woman to threaten Lu Ming? Hand over Mulins. Suddenly, a young man from the human clan rushed out with large strides. It's Zhao Wuji. Zhao Wuji is here. The human experts were overjoyed. The human clan finally had an invincible divine master who had broken through 3 times. Ridiculous. That Lu Ming killed and stole the treasure. He is the despicable one. Now, he is a coward hiding in the Firmament Divine Realm. Hand over Lu Ming and we will release Mulins. Emo Sha sneered. Bullsh *T. I will kill you now. Zhao Wuji shouted coldly. He did not stop and attacked Emo Sha. Emo Sha was not afraid and attacked back. Boom, boom, boom. The two exchanged more than 10 blows, but there was no clear winner. This was not the first time the two of them had fought. Their strength was evenly matched, and it was impossible to determine the victor in a short period of time. Emo Sha, do you want me to help you? Zhu Tian chuckled at the side. Zhu Tian, your opponent is me. Another figure stepped out from the human clan. It was a young man with a big beard. Fu Yuan. Zhu Tian frowned and a trace of fear appeared in his eyes. Zhu Tian, you dare to capture our people near the Azure Divine Realm? How dare you? I think you're courting death. Fu Yuan shouted. That's right. Hand her over. Otherwise, all of you will stay here. The others shouted as well. Mulins was a great benefactor of the Firmament Divine Realm. She was the disciple of an important figure in the Firmament Divine Realm. Zhu Tian and the others had captured Mulins in the Firmament Divine Realm. Most of them were furious and wanted to kill Zhu Tian and the others. With Fu Yuan and Zhao Wuji backing them up, they were not afraid. There were many human clan experts and there were hundreds of them. They outnumbered the 9-in demonic spiders and the extreme evil clan. If something happened, they might be able to take down the other party. The 9-in demonic spiders and the extreme evil clan members' faces changed. They retreated and gathered together to prepare for a big battle. Mulins has been sent away by us. If you dare to act rashly and something happens to us, Mulins will be buried with us. Zhu Tian's cold voice rang out. The experts of the human race were shocked. They couldn't help but stop. They were afraid of taking action. Mulins was in their hands and they had to be careful. Even Zhao Wuji, who was fighting with Emo Sha, stopped. You are despicable. Many people shouted. Hand over Lu Ming. After we kill Lu Ming and avenge my brother Zhu Shi, we will naturally hand over Mulins. Zhu Tian said coldly. You want to take my life? Let's see if you have what it takes. A cold voice rang out. A figure flashed in the air and a young figure appeared. It was Lu Ming. Lu Ming is finally here. That's great. Lu Weiyang and Pang Xiao were among the crowd. They would not miss such a lively scene. When they saw Lu Ming, they were overjoyed. Zhu Tian, Emo Sha, and the others' gazes were as sharp as swords as they stared at Lu Ming. You are Lu Ming. Zhu Tian's gaze was extremely cold. He did not hide his cold killing intent. I am Lu Ming. Lu Ming replied coldly. Very well, I'll take your head. Zhu Tian closed in on Lu Ming. His terrifying cold aura locked onto Lu Ming. Zhu Tian, leave Lu Ming to me. On the other side, Emo Sha also closed in on Lu Ming. It was as if Lu Ming was a fish on the chopping block in their eyes. Apart from Zhu Tian and Emo Sha, the 9-in demonic spider and the extreme evil race. That's right, they did not know that Lu Ming had defeated Fu Yuan. Pang Xiao did not tell them. Pang Xiao did not tell them about Lu Ming's combat strength because he was helping Lu Ming. He had his own plans. Chapter 50:18. Pang Xiao felt that Zhu Tian and the others might not be able to kill Lu Ming near the Tsongqing Divine Realm. Even if a few more experts came, it would still be difficult. The main reason was that there were many human experts near the Tsongqing Divine Realm. Those human experts might not just stand by and watch Lu Ming get killed. Even if Lu Ming had an inferior bloodline, many people would still help him. There were too many people in the Tsongqing Divine Realm who had fallen. Yes, Pang Xiao felt that those who didn't think inferior bloodlines were inferior had all fallen. He felt that they had to maintain their noble status in front of inferior bloodlines. Therefore, he didn't tell Zhu Tian and the others about Lu Ming's true battle strength and achievements. He wanted the 9 demonic spiders and the extreme evil race to look down on Lu Ming. If that happened, the two races would definitely suffer a great loss. Perhaps more 9 demonic spiders and the extreme evil race would die at Lu Ming's hands. It would be best if a few powerful prodigies died. Then Lu Ming and the two races would really fight to the death. More experts would come to kill Lu Ming. In that case, no matter how powerful Lu Ming's combat ability was, he would only die. Therefore, the two races didn't know about Lu Ming's true battle strength. Of course, they didn't underestimate Lu Ming too much. This was because Moken might very well have died at Lu Ming's hands. If he could kill Moken, it meant that Lu Ming himself had the battle strength of at least the second break of the extreme evil realm. He might even be the limit of the second break of the extreme evil realm. However, with two invincible divine masters, Zhu Tian and Mo Sha, working together, Lu Ming would die no matter how strong he was. You want to bully me with numbers? Let me play with you. Fu Yuan shouted coldly. His Guqin appeared, and his aura rushed toward Zhu Tian. On the other side, Zhao Wuji also exuded a powerful aura. He faced Mo Sha and was ready to attack at any moment. It seems that you don't want Mulin's life. Other than Lu Ming, if anyone else dares to make a move, do you believe that I will immediately spread the news and have my people cut off Mulin's head? Mo Sha was filled with evil people, which made Fu Yuan and Zhao Wuji hesitate to act rashly. Speak, where is senior sister Mulin's? Lu Ming asked, barely suppressing the anger in his heart. People who are about to die don't need to know so much. Zhu Tian sneered. Seeing that Fu Yuan did not dare to make a move, Zhu Tian once again charged towards Lu Ming. Zhu Tun, leave this Lu Ming to me. I want to avenge Moken. Mo Sha called out. He killed my little brother. I must cut off his head with my own hands. No one can compete with me. Zhu Tian's eyes were filled with madness. The madness in his eyes sent a chill down Mo Sha's spine. She could not help but stop in her tracks. All right, I'll let you have Lu Ming. However, the 2 stalks of top-notch source-level divine medicine in the demonic Kuan's hands are with him. After killing him, I'll take these 2 stalks of top-notch source-level divine medicine. Mo Sha said, all right. Zhu Tian said, you guys talk too much. Since you won't hand over senior sister Mulin's, I'll capture all of you and exchange you for senior sister Mulin's. Lu Ming said coldly. The battle god's spear appeared in his hand. A powerful aura surged out like a volcanic eruption. His attitude caused Zhu Tian, Mo Sha, and the others to be stunned. Lu Ming actually wanted to take the initiative to attack. Moreover, it seemed like he wanted to challenge all of them. Arrogant. Ignorant. These 2 words flashed through the minds of the 9 demonic spiders and the extreme evil race. Even the experts of the human race were taken aback. They knew that Lu Ming was very strong and had defeated Fu Yuan before. However, that was only after exchanging many blows. In a real battle to the death, he might not be able to defeat Fu Yuan. Zhu Tian's combat strength was not any weaker than Fu Yuan's. In fact, he was even slightly stronger than Fu Yuan. There was also Mo Sha. They were all invincible divine masters. Even if their combat strength differed, the difference was not too great. For example, Zhu Tian was one of the top invincible divine masters. He had defeated several invincible divine masters before. However, he had defeated them one-on-one. If he faced 2 invincible divine masters at the same time, he definitely would not be their match. Even if he pulled out 2 of the invincible divine masters he had defeated to join forces, Zhu Tian would still be defeated. Not many invincible divine masters could face two invincible divine masters at the same time. Therefore, although Lu Ming had defeated Fu Yuan, he was definitely not a match for Zhu Tian and Emo Sha. This Lu Ming is so arrogant. He won't die here today, right? Ha, that would be too easy for him. Lu Weiyang and Pang Xiao were overjoyed. They had originally thought that Lu Ming might not die today. However, now that Lu Ming had taken the initiative to seek death, things were no longer so certain. Don't think that you're invincible just because you killed Moken. I'll kill you. An expert of the extreme evil race shouted as he took the lead and charged toward Lu Ming. This person held a strange weapon. This weapon looked like a saber, but it was not a saber. It looked like a sword, but it was not a sword. It was completely black and emitted an evil aura. This weapon was unique to the extreme evil race. It was called the Extreme Evil Blade. When activated by the extreme evil race's unique power and secret technique, its power was shocking. The Extreme Evil Blade went straight for Lu Ming's glabella. This was an expert who had broken through to the second stage of the extreme break, and not just any ordinary second stage extreme break. Among those who had broken through to the second stage of the extreme break, he was considered a top expert. He was not weaker than Pang Xiao and was much stronger than Mo Kuan. Therefore, Zhu Tian and Mo Sha did not stop him. It was a good opportunity to test Lu Ming's strength. At this moment, Lu Ming's murderous intent was extremely strong. At this moment, Lu Ming's gaze turned cold as he swept his Battle God Spear out. Boom! The Battle God Spear rapidly expanded and struck the opponent's Extreme Evil Blade. There was a loud explosion, followed by a scream. The expert of the extreme evil race was sent flying backward like a cannonball. Blood kept spurting out of his mouth. Furthermore, one of that man's arms had exploded, and the edge of utmost evil flew out of his hand. He was severely injured in one move. What? Many people could not help but widen their eyes in shock. Among them, Pang Xiao was the one who was the most shocked. He knew the expert of the extreme evil race. They had fought before. The two of them were evenly matched, and neither of them could defeat the other. However, this expert who was not weaker than him was so weak in front of Lu Ming. He had been severely injured in one move. Didn't that mean that when he faced Lu Ming, he would also be severely injured in one move? This combat power, Fu Yuan's heart skipped a beat. His battle prowess was even stronger than when he had fought against him back then. Could it be that Lu Ming had not used his full strength when he fought with him? Fu Yuan felt like he had suffered a huge blow. The humans were already aware of Lu Ming's combat ability. Even they were shocked. The 9 demonic spiders and the extreme evil tribe were equally shocked. Even Zhu Tian and Mo Sha, the two invincible divine lords, could not help but widen their eyes. Before they could recover, Lu Ming's attack had already begun. Lu Ming let out a long howl and struck with his palm, using the primeval style. A piece of land formed above Zhu Tian and the rest, suppressing them. In an instant, dozens of experts from the two races were enveloped. Chapter 50-19. Set up the array and block it. Zhu Tian shouted. His body flickered as he set up several combined attack arrays. The people that Zhu Tian and Mo Sha had brought with them weren't useless. They were all very strong. Apart from the first break and second break experts, there were also two combined attack arrays of 21 people. The two combined attack arrays and the other experts attacked the ancient desolate continent together. Zhu Tian and Mo Sha also attacked. However, their attacks weren't aimed at the ancient desolate continent but at Lu Ming. Zhu Tian had 8 spider legs on his back. His entire body was covered in armor. Even his spider legs were covered in armor. The 8 spider legs were like 8 long spears that stabbed at Lu Ming. Mo Sha held the extreme evil blade and slashed at Lu Ming. Its power was much stronger than that of the extreme evil race expert. Facing the joint attack of the two experts, Lu Ming's killing intent became even colder. Buzz! The war god's spear vibrated. 2 spear lights shot out and stabbed at Zhu Tian and Mo Sha. The 3 invincible divine lords retreated too quickly. As soon as the 3 of them attacked, their attacks collided. Clang, 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 clang. 2 figures retreated. It was Zhu Tian and Emo Sha. This. The experts of the human race all gasped. Their hearts were in turmoil, and they couldn't calm down. Lu Ming had actually defeated 2 invincible divine lords in a head-on clash. What kind of terrifying power was this? At the same time, they were certain that Lu Ming hadn't used his full strength when he fought with Fu Yuan. Boom! At this moment, the ancient desolate continent finally collided with the experts of the 2 races. There was an earth-shattering explosion. The first to bear the brunt of the impact were the 2 combined attack arrays of 21 people. The 21 people combined attack formations were pushed back violently. Then they trembled continuously and collapsed. The people who had set up the arrays spat out blood, their faces pale. The others who hadn't set up the combined attack arrays also coughed up blood. They were seriously injured. However, no one had died in the battle. The main reason was that Lu Ming had deliberately controlled his strength. Because now was not the time to kill these people. After all, Mulins had fallen into the enemy's hands. If he killed these people, Lu Ming was afraid that Mulins would be harmed. First, severely injuring these people and holding them hostage would make the other party wary. This was the best plan. Among them, Zhu Tian and Emo Sha were the most shocked. Lu Ming's battle prowess was too shocking. It was somewhat hard for them to imagine. Kill! Lu Ming roared and became one with his spear, turning into several terrifying spear lights that shot towards Zhu Tian and Emo Sha. The terrifying spear light was incomparably huge. It swept across the void, stirring up the vast void. The scene was too shocking. Spider will rend. Zhu Tian roared. Its whole body spun quickly, using its 8 spider legs as blades. In the high-speed rotation, it turned into an extremely sharp gear, cutting towards Lu Ming. At the same time, Emo Sha also went all out. He used his ultimate move to attack Lu Ming. Lu Ming's attacks exerted immense pressure on them, forcing them to go all out and activate their combat abilities to the maximum. Boom! Boom! After 2 explosions, Zhu Tian and Emo Sha's figures retreated again. Their faces were pale and blood flowed from the corners of their mouths. Of course, Lu Ming still did not use his full strength. It was better not to expose all his strength if he could. After all, Mulins had not been rescued yet. He did not want to expose too much of his strength and make the 9 demonic spider and the extreme evil tribe feel too much pressure. If they were prepared in advance, it would be even more difficult to rescue Mulins. It was enough to take down Zhu Tian and Emo Sha. After injuring Zhu Tian and Emo Sha with 1 move, Lu Ming did not stop attacking. He continued to attack. Zhu Tian and Emo Sha resisted with all their strength. As for the other 2 tribes, they could not help as they were already heavily injured. However, even if Zhu Tian and Emo Sha resisted with all their strength, they could not hold on for long. After more than 10 moves, bang! Lu Ming's spear swept across Zhu Tian's chest. His body flew out like a rubber ball. Even with the top-grade source-grade armor, he could not withstand it. At least a dozen bones in his body were broken. He coughed out blood and was severely injured. Lu Ming was like a flash of lightning. He followed closely behind Zhu Tian, and the battle god's spear struck down again. Zhu Tian could not dodge at all and was hit by the battle god's spear once again. Crack! Sizzle! The battle god's spear struck the top-grade source-grade armor, producing an ear-piercing sound. 2 of Zhu Tian's spider legs were broken. If it were not for the protection of the top-grade source-grade armor, they would have exploded. Let's go! On the other side, Emo Sha was really scared out of her wits. She did not dare to stay any longer. With a loud roar, she flew into the distance, trying to escape. It was rare to see an invincible divine master run away after being beaten. Seeing Emo Sha escape, Zhu Tian was enraged. He shouted, "Mulins was taken away by the extreme evil race." Lu Ming's eyes turned cold. He stepped on Zhu Tian's face and used the force of this step to chase after Emo Sha like a flash of lightning. Emo Sha had already been injured in the previous fight, and her speed had been greatly affected. On the other hand, Lu Ming's speed was at its peak. Therefore, Lu Ming quickly caught up with Emo Sha. With a palm strike, a continent appeared above Emo Sha's head and pressed down on her. Damn it! Emo Sha roared. Although she tried her best to resist, the result was already decided. As the continent pressed down, Emosha screamed. The terrifying power passed through the top-grade source-grade armor and hit Emosha's body. Cracking sounds came from Emosha's body. Who knew how many of her bones were broken? In the next instant, Lu Ming appeared in front of Emosha like lightning. His fingers were like hooks, grabbing Emosha's neck. Ah! Emosha roared and struggled madly. Unfortunately, it was useless. Her body was already heavily injured. How could she break free? None of you can leave. Lu Ming's cold voice sounded. He brought Emosha along and his figure flashed. He dashed toward the other people from the two tribes and continuously dealt heavy blows. After a while, the 9 demonic spider and dozens of experts from the extreme evil race, including Zhu Tian, were all suppressed by Lu Ming. Lu Ming took out a rope-like treasure and tied the dozens of experts tightly into a string. Zhu Tian and Emosha were among them. Lu Ming, I won't let you live under the same sky as me. Kill me if you want. Otherwise, one day, I'll take revenge 10 times over. Zhu Tian and Emosha yelled. They wanted to slap Qin Fan to death. How embarrassing! An invincible divine master who had broken through 3 times, a top expert in the universe, was tied up like a chicken on a string. It was too embarrassing. This was a great humiliation that they would never be able to wash away in their lifetime. They wanted to cut Lu Ming into pieces. Unfortunately, Lu Ming wasn't moved. The human experts around were also dumbfounded. Chapter 50-20. At this moment, there were more than 300 human experts gathered around. These 300 humans were all dumbfounded, including experts like Zhao Wuji and Fu Yuan. Then, many people became excited. Too domineering, too domineering. As a human, this was how it should be. Thinking back to the primitive continent in the previous era, the human race had dominated the world. How grand was that? The human race at that time was just as domineering. Among them, Lu Weiyang and Pang Xiao had the most complicated feelings. Firstly, Lu Ming's combat power was too shocking. It was beyond their imagination and made them afraid. Secondly, they were a little excited. Lu Ming had treated Zhu Tian, Emosha, and the others like that. The experts of the two races would definitely not let this matter rest. Later on, there would be more powerful people coming to deal with Lu Ming. There were at least a dozen invincible divine lords from the two races. Lu Ming could deal with 2, but could he deal with 3, 4, or even a dozen invincible divine lords? Not to mention, the two races had a large number of joint attacks. Lu Ming was dead meat. Tell me, where did you take senior sister Mulin's? Lu Ming glanced coldly at Emosha, Zhu Tian, and the others. His voice was filled with murderous intent. Mulin's was taken away by the extreme evil race. They probably took her to the extreme evil land. A 9 demonic spider expert shouted. That's right, it has nothing to do with us. Please let us go. Another 9 demonic spider youth shouted. It was embarrassing to be tied up like this. They all wanted to get away as soon as possible. Shut up, you spiders can't be trusted. You're as timid as mice. Don't try to push all the blame to us. You spiders were the most active when we tried to take down Mulin's. The people of the extreme evil race were unhappy and started cursing. The relationship between the 9 demonic spiders and the extreme evil race was not good. They were competitors and there were many fights between them. Previously, they had joined forces to force Lu Ming out. Now they were quarreling. Shut up! Lu Ming shouted coldly, and the two clans immediately shut their mouths. He had no choice but to lower his head when he was under someone else's roof. Lu Ming reached out and grabbed a young man from the extreme evil race. Where is the land of extreme evil? Lead the way. Lu Ming said coldly. What? The young man from the extreme evil race and the others were shocked. What was Lu Ming trying to do? You want to kill your way to the land of extreme evil? The land of extreme evil was the headquarters of the extreme evil race. It was a terrifying forbidden area during the prehistoric continent. Now, dozens of members of the nefarious tribe had awakened. It could be said that there were many experts among them. If Lu Ming took the initiative to kill his way into the land of extreme evil, he would be courting death. The extreme evil tribe had a total of 7 invincible divine masters. Aside from Mo Sha, there were 6 more. In addition, there were even more powerful joint attack formations. Lu Ming would be courting death if he went there. Lu Ming, you can't. There are still 6 invincible divine masters in the land of extreme evil, Han Yu hurriedly said, trying to calm Lu Ming down. Now that Zhu Tian, Mo Sha, and the others were in Lu Ming's hands, Lu Ming could let 1 or 2 members of the extreme evil race go back to report. He could use Mo Sha and the others to exchange for Mulins. That was the best plan. However, Lu Ming shook his head slightly. He didn't plan to do that. He had always felt guilty toward Mulins. Other than Autumn Moon, Mulins was the first woman he had known. When he was still weak, Mulins had helped him enter the Mystic Essence Sword sect to cultivate. Later, Mulins had used her own happiness to help Lu Ming become a Tian Divine Guard. Mulins had helped him a lot. Without Mulins, Lu Ming wouldn't be where he was today. But later, Lu Ming had known Xian Yanqing. Because he didn't want to hurt Xian Yanqing's feelings, Lu Ming had reluctantly distanced himself from Mulins. He had been young back then. Now that he had experienced more things, both Xian Yanqing and himself had slowly let go. However, Lu Ming still felt guilty toward Mulins. Now that he had finally found Mulins, the 9 demonic spider and the extreme evil race had kidnapped Mulins to deal with him. This had touched his bottom line. He wouldn't let this go so easily. He wanted the 2 races to pay the price. At the same time, he wanted to use this battle to make a name for himself and intimidate the rascals so that there wouldn't be endless trouble in the future. He had to go to the land of extreme evil. Lead the way. Lu Ming's cold voice rang out. His eyes were filled with killing intent, causing the young man from the extreme evil race to tremble. Bring him there. Mo Sha shouted. Since Lu Ming wanted to go to the land of extreme evil, why not bring him there? There were many experts in the land of extreme evil. When Lu Ming went there, he could do whatever he wanted. "Hey, I'll lead the way," the young man from the extreme evil race said. Lu Ming let go of his hand and the young man from the extreme evil race flew into the distance. Lu Ming followed behind him with a group of people. "Let's go and take a look. We have to go. If the extreme evil race dares to bully us, we'll attack. After all, Lu Ming is a member of the human race. We can't let him suffer. I'll send a message immediately and call a few experts to help." Many people in the Azure Divine Realm shouted. Some people took out their voice transmission jade talismans and called their friends to go to the land of extreme evil. Even Zhao Wuji, Fu Yuan, and the others took out their voice transmission jade talismans and sent messages. Not long after, a large number of experts from the human race headed to the land of extreme evil. The Azure Divine Realm was quite far from the land of extreme evil. With Lu Ming's speed, it would take at least half a month to reach the land of extreme evil. Along the way, they met many people from other forbidden lands. What's going on? When these people saw that Lu Ming had brought a group of people with him, they were all dumbfounded. It's like this. Among the human race, someone who was talkative immediately told them what had happened. "I can't believe such a thing happened. Let's go and take a look." Then, these people followed behind Lu Ming and headed toward the land of extreme evil. Moreover, these people spread the news to their friends and family. This news spread like a hurricane to the 6 superpowers in the Western universe. "I say, can you put us away or cover us with something?" A young man from the 9 demonic spider shouted. "Yeah, cover us." The others shouted as well. It was too embarrassing to be tied up like this and swaggered through the streets. They wished they could find a dog hole to hide in. That would be better than this. Lu Ming could not be bothered with them. He continued to pull these people toward the land of extreme evil. The experts of the extreme evil tribe in the land of extreme evil also received the news quickly. They were all furious. "How dare you tie up the people of the extreme evil tribe? You're courting death. Who is that Lu Ming? He's too daring. How dare he come to our land of extreme evil? Men, gather the experts. When this person comes, we must tear him into pieces." The people of the extreme evil tribe shouted angrily. The experts of the 9-in demonic spider were also furious. After the experts of the 9-in demonic spider heard the news, they sent out their experts to the land of extreme evil. The Western universe was in turmoil.